Chat. I've got something very special for you today. So as many of you know, I have a public character Sherbert playlist. I have a one that's up. It's 128 songs long, and it's up on my YouTube. You can find it if you go to my regular channel, and it's been added to over time, over the years of Fable. And a while ago, I did a stream where I listened through the whole playlist and talked about each of the songs and why I think they're related to character Icarus, character Sherbert. And one of the lovely chatters in chat, hi Sage. Sage is in fact very tired, is their username, was like, hey, what if I made a little analysis post of my interpretations of all the songs on the playlist? And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. I'd want to read that. So it finished yesterday, and it's 18,000 words. It's 18,000 words long. It's been 2 months that they've been working on this, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this. I want it to be special. So we're gonna read it on stream today, and that's the energy in the studio. No idea how long it'll take, and maybe we'll do some art afterwards, but I was like, I could probably make a whole stream out of this about reading what you wrote and then giving my opinion. So I've got it ready up on the screen. I have not looked at it. I've seen some of the people's reactions to it who have read it, and I know there's some funny stuff in there, but I'm really intrigued, and it's also just another excuse for me to talk about Icarus, which I want to do. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Hi, this is my fault. But are we ready, gamers? I think I want to get into this. I'm really interested, and this is kind of a stream that is paired with the stream I did a little while ago analyzing the playlist. So I'm not gonna play all of the songs. If you want to hear all the songs, you can go listen to them, but the titles are going to be with each of the descriptions. So here we go. Are we ready? Are we ready, gamers? I figured we could have a little bit of ambiance. Actually, I think I do want regular for the start of it. Maybe that's too happy. Hold on. It's probably this for now. All right. Here we go. I've got it pulled up right here. Whoosha! All right, so this is Sage's Tumblr. You guys should go follow them. They post a ton of content. When season 3 was going on, and I was deep in the Icarus grind, I was scrounging Tumblr for posts about Icarus, and Sage was the head of that world. And after every stream, I would open Tumblr and I'd be like, all right, what did Sage say about my little blorbo? Because you did a really good job analyzing Icarus, which is really cool. So let's do this. So this is here we go. Might have cooked too hard on this. It sure is so many words. 18,300 words to be exact. That's crazy. But I commit to my bit, and I will continue to do so because I'm a loser. So welcome to the Sage Looked at the Character Sherb playlist and went far more bonkers than probably necessary post, because nothing I ever said stays a very bit long. All right. Are we ready, gamers? Bow. All right, here we go. Section 1. Man, Icarus Morningstar is such a character. The most character of all time. All right, so first off is Icarus by Bastille. In my mind, this is 2 to 3 people talking about Icarus. The first section up until the instrumental, in the middle being Centros. It's the whole idea of drinking. It feels very much about Centros, about them. Living Beyond Your Ears is very reset coded, not Centros talking about them. The rest of the section definitely feels like Centros. I get your point here. Second section, up until you put up your defenses when you leave, is very much Fable talking about them. I like this. Just the whole idea of them falling. He would have been the one to see that, and the whole idea of him being scared of that happening again and again and again. Yep. The last section following that could be argued with either Centros or Ray, how they both put Icarus up in this front in his armor when they talk to people, when they walk around, and really, really drop that when they're alone, or with Centros or with Ray. Yeah, that's a bit of it. That's a bit of it. The argument that they don't drop their walls completely around Centros or Ray, but this is a playlist analysis, not a character analysis. Of all the people, those are the ones, so you're not wrong. You're never wrong, to be fair. Thank you, Logger, for the gifted. Alright. Also, the whole idea of reset Icarus dying over and over again, forgetting over and over, falling over and over. Yep! It's the Icarus myth, TM. Alright, redesign your logo. This is very much about the whole change from just yellows and golds to the yellow and purple color scheme they end up due to the eye. Yeah. It's very Midas to Icarus coded, basically, because as a kid, they were mostly dressed up in yellows, but as time went on, the eye happened, the restart started, and that changed. Yeah. Redesign your logo is about the purple and yellow, and about the trident, specifically. Was one of the... because that's like a proper logo for them. Shifted into wearing more purples more often, mixing them with yellow for all intents and purposes, redesigning the logo they previously had. The whole idea of the trident changing from the trident to Quix's symbol. Yeah. Because that's kind of Icarus's logo. The argument could also be made about how they become nicer with the eye in the following resets. Their logo, typicalness of being a snarky asshole, shifts into something kind and caring and compassionate. It's redesigned, at least partially Midas is doing. Yeah, I like redesign your logo, specifically the bit where it starts listing out all of the demographics. I liked tagging to specific people. A couple good ones in there. Any day now. This is from Inside by Bo Burnham. Icarus about the whack. It's how they want it to stop. Think it will stop soon. It'll stop any day now. Keeps going on forever, can it? So the pain Icarus is constantly going through, the bad, the horrible, the terrible, and the suffering, it'll stop eventually, right? It can't keep going on forever. Stop any day now, as long as they can make it there, make it to the point where they're good and they're happy it can stop. Yeah. Keep going and it'll stop. Yeah. And that's the there's a little bit of TikToks that's the exact same, like, no, I can do this, I can get through this, I can get through this, I can get through this, and then just not getting through this well. And it hits a little. Midas my blorbo. Alright, and Icarus is hypocrisy, how they do things, harm, yell at, everything like that to others while they're doing the same things. They're berating others for themselves. They'll do one thing, call it fine, while criticizing that exact same thing. I like that interpretation. Also could be seen in the light of Fable talking about Icarus's action and friendships and the things of that sort. Yeah. I like this kind of multiversally. And as a kind of... I see it kind of Sherbert-versy, where you can kind of do a little bit of tagging, but you're right. Comb attack. Yeah, so here's a couple of the Jack Stauber ones. Oh, Jack Stauber. This one is... okay, most of the words in here are very glitchy, cut off from each other. Something about the resets and cutting off Icarus, cutting their words off, cutting their actions off, cutting their memories off. Yeah, the Jack Stauber ones are canon, right? Because of all things, Jack Stauber is canon to the Fable universe, which is true. And this is one that Icarus would listen to, in my opinion. And it hits. Hungover in the City of Dust. Icarus' isolation. How their friends are constantly leaving them alone and isolated, and how they're constantly pushing people away. How they've left running around in circles trying to catch up, trying to save themselves, figure out what's wrong, figure out how to fix it. Yeah. Hungover in the City of Dust is very introspective, their mental state. Also a really good TikTok to that sound. Mr. Backwards! Oh, the Mr. Backwards analyzations. You guys have had some very deep headcanons about Mr. Backwards, and I am a fan of it. Icarus's backwards way of thinking. How they'll tell you what they want, how they're hurting, but they're not going to tell you, how they're trying so desperately not to let people see that. Seems so backwards to others. Yeah. Icarus is Mr. Backwards. Not feeling right, not feeling like they can do anything right. And I thoroughly enjoy the Mr. Backwards headcanons that Icarus would loop this for Centros to the point where he hated it. Oh, Never Meant to Know. This is Never Meant to Know by Tally Hall. Just the whole idea, there's so much about this world that Icarus cannot and should not be privy to until the correct time. And they lived their life rather peacefully up to that point, not knowing, never knowing, the whole idea of the resets, and how truly Icarus wasn't supposed to know about any of this. How they were never supposed to be dead, and they're supposed to be dead, and they're not. Genuinely never meant to know. Yeah. Denial. I love Denial. Out of the box, this is another Jack Stauber one. Resets. The whole idea that Icarus has died again and again, and that whole like abrupt manner of the resets, how they could be doing something one moment and the next they're outside surrounded by grass and surprise. Yeah. Yep. The jackstrapper ones are very, very abstract. Lol. But yeah, I like this. Digital silence. Oh. Icarus siding with Fable, and really Icarus's actions in general. How they have to do this regardless of what others say and regardless how it makes them feel. They need to do what they're doing right now. It all means to the end, and they need to do it, because if they don't, things get very wrong and very different. Yeah. Execute the mother to elevate the man is the banger line in that one. That's the banger. That's about their parents. That's about Fable and Isla. I eat it up. Alien Blues. Oh, Icarus Angst. This is a fun one. Okay. Just describing Icarus' whole life, the pain, the bad, the terrible, the whole idea Icarus plays off everything as a joke. They don't. They let other people see what happens, and the snark and asshole attitude people give them because of that. Maybe the whole idea of the way things snark and sometimes bad after things and repeating history in a bad way. Yeah. I do anything for you, Miss Highness, and think about how they do anything for Fable. Yes! I love Fable and Icarus' relationship. It's so bad. If it meant killing their family, even if it meant that he might love them, even if it meant they'd do good, they've succeeded in something, succeeded instead of failing. Yeah. Yeah. Sage, I hope you enjoy all the times I say, you're right. I'm the Icarus poster for a reason. It's true. Under My Skin! Yay! This was my original inspiration song for character Sherb. Just everything with not entirely being yourself. Everything about being yourself on the outside, but having someone else shimmering right under your skin. Yeah. Telling you things, making you do things. The entire idea that Icarus isn't entirely himself. Yeah. This is half my body is literally from a hardcore world. Half my body is literally not mine. Abel. We hit more Jack Stopper. The next two are both Jack Stopper songs. Whole idea that Icarus not wanting to be alone in their own mind sometimes, on top of that just wanting to be fine. That's the song. On time of trying to desperately convince themselves they're all entirely completely fine. Saying it out loud so properly sets it into their mind, so properly comes to fruition. Yeah. God, no, God. I thought it was just the eye. Oh, half their body. I've always said that in my mind's eye. That it's half their body, not just their eye. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. But that's how I see that. Personally. Mirror Man. This is also a Jack Stopper song. Needs to be seen by someone, anyone. That needs to be heard, known by someone. The knowledge that if they don't, Icarus will make it worse for themselves, but everyone else making it Icarus' living nightmare. Yeah. Mirror Man is about Quixis to me. Mirror Man is like looking in a mirror at themselves and Quixis looking at them from the other side. That's the energy. I like mirrors and Sherbert and looking in the mirror and not seeing yourself. Brass Goggles, Copper Duo! This is Brass Goggles by Steam Powered Giraffe. Copper Duo. B. The whole idea almost that Icarus is to shove down their feelings. They like to pretend that Icarus is a bad, upset emotions that don't exist, at least when in front of people. The whole idea they're trying to present themselves as someone who doesn't break down in front of others. They try not to cry, and they try so desperately to keep up this facade and teach themselves more and how to do so. Yeah. It's not understanding why they're like this. To me. Copper Duo. I love them. I don't think I talk about how much Icarus like cared about Seven and wanted to like atone and never got the chance to. And like you can see that in the beach stream, but anyways. Bleed Magic. This is Bleed Magic by I don't know how, but they found me. In my mind, this is very Midas talking to Icarus. The whole idea of Midas knowing what Icarus is like. The whole idea that Icarus is lonely, that no one believes them because of how much they lied. And that is somehow bleeding magic out. Literally in the direct form of Sherbert's eye. Yeah, that's the bit. Which is in a way killing Sherbert, not necessarily the bleeding eye, just the fact they didn't become Quixis when they needed to. This is the whole concept to do the fact they didn't become Quixis when they should have. Midas has spent far too much time and energy and magic on them. Yeah. Icarus is literally draining them, bleeding them, leaving them with such little control. Yeah. Some of them are in here because of like direct word metaphors and saying literally bleed magic is the like energy of Quixis being used on Icarus. Big agree. Gold. I have a CMV. This is gold by Imagine Dragons. Right? This is which gold is first? Wait, hold on. Which gold is first? Okay, yeah, gold by Imagine Dragons is first. This is about how everything they touch changes no matter what they do. And how they try so hard to keep them from changing, but the whack is random. Midas can't control it, and so it changes. Gold and bright, everything they touch changes to gold. Wow! I found this song when I named Midas, and I was like, give me songs about the Greek myth Midas. And I was like, what? All right, gold by Spanu Ballet. Corn, this is for you. I guess it's just the whole idea that no matter how many people leave them or get killed around them, anything like that, they'll come back. Yeah, those people can't break like that because Icarus has always seen them like the rock that can't break. Yeah, it keeps saying like you're indestructible. The fact that Icarus can't die, they can't. And then also there's the second verse I think is about prison duo to me. It talks about a prison and that was enough. And you could unpack that. Thank you, Rayfire, for the 22 months. Hello. Stage not putting the artist was a choice. You're good. It's okay. This is Creature by Half Alive. I am creation. This one. Whole idea of how Icarus is creation's child. They are creation in a way. They push his ideals, however, subconsciously into people. He's leading their way and will be, and this is a good thing. And Icarus pushes and pushes and pushes this idea, showing both the good parts of themselves, not quite the good parts of creation, as well as the bad, more twisted parts, and almost completely Fable's fault due to them almost being his ideals. Yeah. I'm creation, both haunted and holy. Yep. That's the line, baby. It's almost the whole idea of the resets, their body recreated and recreated over and over and over again. They are the embodiment of creation's powers. A person remade through him in his image, the person he wanted them to be, haunted in the idea that they might as well be a ghost, holy in the symbol of Fable deems as much. Yeah, Fable is a god. What Sherbert should draw? Draw Ripley. Path to Isolation. Ah, boy. This is a song from Ruby, or WBY, and I found this, like, during season 1 and was like, dang, this is coded, and I haven't really unpacked the song, but there's a lot in there. Yeah. The song is so coded. What the fuck? The whole idea of how lost speed of someone or something leads them down this path. Yeah. Leads Icarus so often down this path of immense anger, leads them down the path the side of the enemy. The whole idea that everything is breaking, be it through their own means or someone else's. The whole idea that going down this path is so often means they're incredibly alone and they can't recognize themselves. I like those words particularly a lot. They don't know who they become in all this pain and all this bad. They can't find it. They just keep falling apart and don't even know where to begin or pick up the pieces. All right, last one of the character Sherbert section. Bet on It from High School Musical 2. Whole idea that Icarus wants to do the right thing so desperately. Despite all their doubts, their beliefs, their questions about this world, they want to do the right thing. They will do the right thing. They need to. They put all their effort into doing that thing and it'd fall apart if they didn't continue to do that. Crazy that you can get that out of Bet on It from High School Musical, but you're right. The like continuing determination to do things right and not fail. Like that's Icarus, baby. That's Icarus. All right, section 2, brothers and childhood is where we're at. Problems. This is Problems by Mother. Am I aware this is on the playlist because of Charles? Yes, this is true. Am I going to say this Brothers Code anyway? Absolutely. It is. Because it is Brothers Code. It's something about Icarus seeing himself as the bad and someone who can't be saved while viewing their brother in a significantly better light. Yeah. See him as the good one and not who's going to save them. Yeah, you can absolutely code that as Brothers. I code it as Charles because it's funny. But it's so Brothers. Two Birds. This is Two Birds by Regina Spektor. There's a CMV to this one. Separation. Yeah. Very much Icarus and Ray drifting away from each other. Icarus drifting away and leaving and hiding while Icarus continues time and time again to help them and save them, drag them back home. Yeah. And you can see that in the CMV of where it starts when they're together and then you go through the resets where they are notably forgetting each other. Fun fact about the resets. the page, we like to say the page where Fable was ripping it out was the last thing that Sherbert and Ray did. That's the thing that's most damaged across the resets. Like, everything's reset, everybody forgets. But Sherbert and Icarus and Ray are the center of it. And he is ripping specifically to make them forget each other. There's a subtext on the resets and him ripping them specifically to drive them apart because he doesn't want Ray in the picture. Family line! I never talked about that before, have I? Something about just repeating history, something about falling after your parents, something about how they'll try to change themselves so much they don't mirror their parents, something about how they have to live with everything their parents have done. Yeah. This is Prince Trio and their godparents and the trauma that so causes. Thank you, Dixie May, for the 10 months. I'm late, but I made it. Welcome in. Welcome. All right. Call the brothers. Separation. Again. It's true. The brothers are apart from each other, separated rather permanently through the resets, and from Icarus's point of view, they probably can't fix it. They mend themselves back together like they used to. They're broken. There's some lines in that one, too. Find their fathers, find their mothers. That's the line. Brother by Codaline. There's a CMV. Something about how, despite being broken, despite all the separation, the time that lost the hangs between them, they still rely on each other. They still help them out at the cost, because in the end, they're still brothers. They still love each other, and they care. Yeah. Tasty. Fish in a birdcage. Hey, loves this song for the brothers. Okay. Icarus being trapped and isolated, be it through their own doings, their fathers, or anyone's, and how Ray will always be there to soothe them, help them, or care for them, love them. He cares so desperately and believes he'll do the best to take care of them, and Icarus believes it, that he loves them. Yeah. It's Icarus and Ray both trying to take the other out of their shells. And get out in the world, to me. It's both of them doing that to each other. This is Icarus by the Crane Wives, yeah? It's not in here, but yes, it's Icarus by the Crane Wives. Okay. Mostly Ray talking to Icarus. Actually, wait, hold on. Okay. Mostly Ray talking to Icarus, yes. Seeing just how far they've flown, how far they're willing to fall, the realization what Icarus has become after all of this, and trying so very hard to drag Icarus back down in any way they can. The last part is Icarus to Ray, however. Try to get him to stop that you can't save me, Ray. That acknowledgement, no matter how, when in the timeline, that Ray can't save Icarus. Icarus has to be the one to save himself. I like it, Picasso. Also, happy birth! Hope you're having a good birth. Family Jewels. This is the Family Jewels by Marina. Whole idea of cycles. Yay! The whole idea, just what their family is, the whole idea of the cycle of pain and suffering will continue until Icarus stops it. Almost the snark to Ray. They only share one last name. Yeah, this is salty Icarus at Ray for being just half-brother. Icarus being the favorite. Yeah, the fable conditioned to be the better one, conditioned to be like this. Whole idea of jewels and royalty. The idea that almost Icarus welcoming Ray into this life of trying too hard, trying so very hard to be perfect, to be the best, to be royalty, because they have to be, and arguably the realization that Ray never had to live that life. The realization that Ray never had to be the perfect one. Ray got to live normally, pretty much. Whereas Icarus grew up young, having to be a prince as perfect as they could. Yeah. Alright, Sparkbird by Sparkbird. Baby little bird. Birdie. Baby little bird. Whole idea of Icarus noticing little things, pointing them out, and needing Ray to notice them. The whole idea of Icarus grew up far, far too quickly, and Ray is almost the outlet of that. They want to desperately make up for all the time they lost with the resets and all the time Icarus wants assholes to him. Yeah. Sparkbird to me is like just baby Icarus being happy, which is such a rare thing. But it's true. When the day met the night. I've dissected this song as Fable, Endirian, and Isla. Did Sherb say this is Fable, Endirian, and Isla? Yes. My go to say it's brothers coded anyway. Also yes. Touche. It's the whole idea of how Ray is there for Icarus and how they make each other better when they're together. And how, yes, they often have their bad moments between each other, but in the end, there's always good. In the end, they always manage to find a way and have the sun shine brightly upon them. How in the end, they'll still love and care deeply about each other. I like that. I like that a lot. I've dissected my interpretation, but I like the brothers' interpretation. I had never considered that. I enjoy it. This is Icarus, Emma Blackberry. This is a weird one. Ray to Icarus. That whole idea that Icarus can, that Ray can see so easily through Icarus's front. So easily what they're trying to hide. The idea that Ray can so easily see the danger Icarus so often leads himself to. And tries to turn them away from that. The whole thing of Ray so often giving Icarus an out, asking them questions, leading them in the right direction, or at the very least trying his hardest to do so. This is a quirky one, but you're right. I've got you! This is Zenny's fan song about the brothers! Considering this is a Zenny song and one made for Fable specifically, it doesn't really need an explanation. However, just like the whole idea that despite everything, despite all the brothers have been through and all their arguing and all the bad and terrible, Icarus and Ray still care about each other. Icarus will still keep Ray safe no matter what happens because that's what older brothers do. That's what family does. Yeah. I like it, Picasso. Zenny / Pos. Alright, section 3, season 1. I'll switch. Season one is very... for now. Alright. Fine, this is like early season 1. It's the whole idea of the beginning of season 1 that everything was actually okay. It was fine, it was okay, they were all okay. Nothing bad had happened yet, at least not that they could remember, and all was going well. The idea it was going to continue to go well. Then nothing bad was going to happen, because why would it? It's all gone well up to this point, why would it start now? Fine is the we get to be happy and the 6 months where all we did was build on the server and just be normal guys. Yeah. All right. My eyes. This is from Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. Yeah, Mambu Icarus time. This is very early corruption. The first part being Icarus, that slow realization of what they're falling into, bad and anger, hopelessness almost, and the idea that they're getting worse. Second part's Mambu, who's also trying to comfort herself, and Icarus convince herself of Icarus of what Icarus really wants. They don't want to be bad truly, regardless of their actions and what Mambu and co so clearly see in front of them. Yeah. My eyes is their drifting apart song and Mambu being, no, this is okay, this is good, everything's fine. Alright, If I Killed Someone for You. This is by Alec Benjamin. This is also the Icarus and Mambu song. Icarus to Mambu in early corruption. The idea of their true sense or self being at least sense of self they had before is slowly rotting away as corruption takes hold. Slowly killing the good person they were, slowly killing them and only leaving the bad, ugly, bloodied pieces of them. Would she still care about them, hold their hand if they weren't the same person she'd fallen with? Yeah, I see what your next one's about, and I see this is about Haley. Could also be viewed as Icarus to Mambu in late correction, more towards the end after killing Haley. Yeah. There's physically blood and gore on their hands, but you still hold their hands knowing it's covered in hands like that. Yeah. If I Killed Someone for You, in my mind, is directly about Haley, but it's just Icarus. It could be seen as gaslighting, you know? It could be seen as gaslighting. But who's to really say? Okay. Let's dip into the corruption songs. All right. Places Angels. This is Will Wood. Will Wood. Corruption. Basically Icarus to everyone. The snark of, am I really that bad? Because they know if necessary they can also be so much worse. Oh, I like that! The acknowledgement that if anyone else was in their shoes, they'd probably drop to the same lows they had. There's some bad, horrible actions. Well, they think, they come to know later that probably wouldn't be the case, but it's almost what they end up believing until really breaking bonds. Yeah. Just the whole idea of their mentality during corruption, how bad they can be, how much worse they could be, and how much someone else in their same shoes would just be just as bad. Yeah. It's that, am I really that bad? Am I really? Am I? Ways to be wicked. This is from Descendants. Descendants 2. Very ominous bane. So true. This whole idea of there being so many ways they can just be evil. The whole idea of trying to convince people to join their side, join their cause, to change their story to be bad. Yeah. Ominous bane anthem. Heathens. Sherb said this is very Easton talking to Athena about ominous bane, Icarus, Centros, and kind of sort of 7, and I very much agree with that. Yes, that's Heathens to me. Whole idea of a warning of how messy and chaotic and bad ominous bane can be. The whole idea of everything they've been through before this, if they want to remember it or not, how it maybe still affects them to this day. The whole concept of someone trying to warn Athena of what they're getting into, tell them what everyone here is like. Yeah, I like this for Easton, and I said that before. I want to be a slave. This is by Mainskin. Whole idea of wanting to be seen as good by Endirian, almost. The idea of wanting to be her puppet and wanting her to tell him what to do. Whole idea after wanting to be redeemed. Yeah. More Ominous Bane anthems. Twisted. This is a weird one that I haven't talked about. This is a Zelda song by Nate Wants to Battle. And I like it. I'll see what you wrote. Hot take. Icarus taunting people. This is Ominous Bane taunting Athena. Icarus trying to get Ominous Bane with them to help taunt people, specifically Athena. Wow! Just the whole idea of not getting them to believe that A, they're not a hero, they're not going to be, and B, this world as it is isn't worth saving. They need to mess it up, blow up stuff, kill people, something to make worth it. Yeah. This is like Athena, in my mind, Athena like pushed to the ground and Ominous Bane just like walking around them being like, oh, you're in so much deeper than you think you are, you silly goose. Ramalama Bang Bang. This is blowing stuff up. The whole idea of Icarus and going around and blowing shit up. Just the snark and annoyance and bullshit they say during it and stuff they tell people while they're blowing stuff up. The whole loudness and bang is the explosions. Yeah. I love when I say something and then Sage writes the exact thing that I said. Alright, let's hit Whisper Duo, shall we? I'm trying to keep the music on par. At least a little bit. Where is it? That one. Alright. Icarus asking Athena to keep all of this Ominous Bane, everything about corruption, a secret. The loosely veiled thread of what would happen if Athena told anyone. What would happen to them if they dare spill that to others. The fact that Icarus so desperately wanted to keep corruption, keep their actions, keep Ominous Bane and Athena involvement in it a secret. And how in the end they can't because Athena tells. And Athena gets hurt because of that, but they also get saved. Yeah. Oh, Whisper Duo. Hawk in the Night! Oh boy, how I love Whisper Duo. Icarus to Athena. The whole idea of Athena doing good, being what Icarus wants her to be for them, and Ominous Bane. The whole idea that Athena should fight against their friends, stop trying to call out for help, stop trying anything, and be proud when Athena should finally end up doing that, cutting ties. Yeah. Be like us. It's better that way. Don't be a lame little loser. Hot take, not in the correct spot in the playlist for this, but also Fable talking to Icarus. Alright, I'm listening. Be it before or after the cathedral. That whole idea of Fable wanting Icarus to isolate themselves from their friends and brother, and being pleased when they did that, as well as the whole idea of fighting your friends and family and siding with the bad guys and not, well, your family. Or, well, your family, the people who really love you, the people who'd care if you die, the people who want you to be there and want you to be around them. I like that. That's fun. That's a fun little hot take. Thank you, Foxy Coach, for the follow. Alright, Sharks! Sharks by Imagine Dragons. The whole idea of Icarus and Ominous Bane almost taunting Athena while he's with them. Yep. The whole idea that everyone knows that Athena thinks they can be better than everyone else, but in reality they're just the same, and the whole idea that one day we'll see that all she's doing is swimming with sharks that want her gone and dead and hurt the same way as everyone else. Another hot take, raid Icarus around a brother's final stand. Ooh! The whole idea that one day Icarus will realize their mistakes and missteps and the wrongdoings of how Fable is wrong, and they'll truly realize how deep in they are and how far they've gone to swim with the sharks. Tasty. I like your double tastes. I like when you're like this, but also this one, maybe. Alright, lies. The whole idea that all the lies Icarus telling during season 1 to get others to get people on their side, to Ominous Bane to make themselves look better, to themselves hide away that they're cracking. Yes! That one's kind of cut and dry. We both reached for the gun. Oh, Present Duo! Whole idea of being a puppet to someone else. The whole idea of someone wanting standing behind you, controlling your actions and words, everything about you. The whole idea of corruption and being a puppet to yourself in a weird sort of way. Whole idea that during corruption, Ominous Bane, Centros tried so desperately to make Icarus do what he wanted. I like it! It's the opposite of what I say normally about this song. I do have big thoughts about this song. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Look at them go. They're blowing stuff up. It's the whole idea of corruption, that anger and the upset and mad targeted at everyone. Arguably Icarus to Centros. Just that anger about how he gets to Endirian, the anger he gets to do whatever he wants, so they're delegated to whatever that is. All the arguments that happen between them. It's very season 1 Prison Duo. Agree! Play with fire. This is Centros and Endirian. Yes, it is! Arguably, them almost taunting Icarus. I'll accept that. Whole idea of them getting to do all of this and do it all together, where Icarus hasn't even gotten to talk to Endirian. Yeah. This is the Centros song that I put on the Icarus playlist because I wanted to yell about it. Is it about Icarus? Not directly. Can't Stand the Rain. There's a CMV to this one. The whole idea of literally not being able to stand in the rain, how it's constant, it means they're always going to keep going and going and going, and they're not really getting any further than before. Also, the whole idea of how love, there's truly no such thing as it, as long as this keeps going, as long as they're corrupted. Yes! Big agree! Bust your kneecaps! Welcome back, Athena. 3 strikes, 3 strikes, 3 strikes. This is so incredibly 3 strikes coded. That whole idea of Icarus taunting Athena, chasing them after everyone else, threatening them. The way that Icarus was fully willing to hunt and kill all of them, fully willing to go there and hurt them like that. Yep. Alright. Big agree. You know what time it is. This one? No. Oh, it is. 6-5-0 cop out. This is Willwood. So very prison coded. It's the whole anger at the fact they were even put there. The idea that people would dare misuse their trust to trap them. The idea of being alone and trapped and no one was even considering letting them out. That need to want to be out because they were perfectly fucking fine. They didn't need to be trapped like this. Why do they even think Icarus needed to be trapped like this? Prison! Murders! Getting out of the prison! Yeah, this is put in the prison. This is the entire prison arc over the timeline. The idea they go there looking for something, they're promised something, and they work incredibly hard to get to that point, but in the end, the prison ruins that for them, and it was all for nothing at all. All their efforts were really worth nothing. All their efforts to see the end of this weren't worth anything, because look at where they are now, look at where this has gotten them, trapped in a prison, panicked, alone, and hurt. All for nothing at all. There's a video on my alt of Sherb getting uncorrupted, of the acting that I did for that, and you should go watch that if you haven't. It's an older video on my alt, but it's tasty. Nothing left to lose. Time for Centros to blow up Sherbet's house. Loose ends. That's the stream. So incredibly loose ends coded. That whole idea of Icarus to put Centros into the prison. They attempted that, then Centros almost immediately trying to put them back into the cell. Following argument, and Centros flying off, Icarus and Ray following, and the whole idea of Icarus trying so desperately to keep him from blowing up their house, and failing because Centros doesn't give a shit. Centros doesn't have any attachments to them anymore, and serve their purpose in his words, and doesn't need to keep them or their house or anything around any longer, and so he goes through with blowing it up. He leaves Icarus alone there to pick up whatever they can. Oh, nothing left to lose. This is as the world caves in. It's the finale, baby. Season 1 finale. The whole idea of Centros blowing up the tree, the world literally caving in as Fable rips away yet another page. The way everyone gets ready, gathers around for the funeral of a woman none of them really knew, ready to mourn, but not knowing the events that would follow. Okay, get ready for a funeral, only it's not only Haley's, but it's also their own! Love that! Sure, they'll come back, but the world will still cave in, and the person that sat in those seats will be long gone by the time they do. Arguably Season 2 reset. I agree, it's both. The whole idea of getting ready and dressing up and armoring up to fight Perix, the warden getting to that point, putting her soul into the portal frame, not only to find Midas had switched Fable and Haley, and it was all for nothing. Oh, how the world is caving in, it's falling apart. Yep. What if tomorrow comes? I guess the whole idea of Centros hoping that blowing up the tree isn't really truly the end of it all. Yeah. Hope that tomorrow will come regardless because this can't be the end, but also that doubt and unknown that if it really would come, the idea that to them that it would seem like they were going to die with no way of coming back, and the whole idea of being proven very wrong as they wake up a few weeks later in a reset world, slowly get their memories back as time goes on, the realization that tomorrow will come because it came once tens of times before, and so it'll come again and again until they figure all of this out and stop it. Yeah, man! Yeah! Yeah, man! Tasty! I'm gonna go up until it goes live, and then we're gonna raid. We'll see how far that takes us. Season 2. This is the Season 2 song. Section 4, Season 2. Or at least half of these about putting Centros in the prison. I'm not a proud man. I'm not proud. But that was the pivotal moment for Sherbert in Season 2, is putting Centros in the prison and then trying to bring Haley back. Those are the beats that Sherbert had to hit in Season 2, so. Oh, also that's your brother, and that's your dad. That was also a little important. Alright, new life. Whole idea of how since no one remembers the beginning of the Skulk reset, they all, Icarus especially, have an opportunity to, at least until they remember properly, start anew. Icarus doesn't remember, and for a while no one really remembers them, so they have an opportunity to have a new life, to rebuild things long since broken and make them better. Icarus doesn't have to worry about everything they did in the past, and if no one can remember it, meaning they get a free pass to, well, at least for a while and for all intents and purposes, start a new life on a clean state. Yep. Yepperoonie! Okay. The conclusion is, I'm gonna read this up until Hey Hey goes live with art, and then I'm gonna raid over there, but I'm gonna film me reading through the rest of this, and I'll post it in the VOD, but I really want you guys to go watch the baking stream. So when they go live, we'll raid over there, but I'll still read through the whole thing and film it just like this, and it'll go in the VOD. All right? All right. People I don't like. Oh, Centros. Very much Centros at the beginning of season 2. Good job, Sage. To everyone, really, though, considering this is the Icarus playlist, it's arguably to Icarus. Yeah. You gotta think about where Centros left off at the end of season 1 going into season 2. Like, season 2, we're like, oh yeah, he started his redemption arc. No. He's coming right off of blowing everyone up at the start of that. And he's listening to Endirian, but like, he doesn't like anybody. He doesn't. He just blew everybody up and is like, well, man, I'm glad I got out of that. Anyways, the whole idea that Centros knows them, and the whole idea that Icarus just doesn't. The whole idea of things Centros trying to make him seem good in everyone's eyes, save face and all that, especially to Icarus. Especially considering Icarus has had very strong feelings about everything Centros did to them and told them and all of that. Yeah. Not that they remembered all of that at the beginning of the reset, but concept. Yeah. Man's really said, oopsie daisy. Turn the lights off. Whole vibe at the beginning of season 2. That people shouldn't go to the end, or at least shouldn't go to the end alone. Yep, that's the bit. Because look at where that got people last time. Don't go to the end because you could end up corrupted like they did, and they don't want that to happen again. Yeah, that was the original meaning of the song. Part of me would also say that it's not within the season, but it's also season 3. Yeah. Within the end, this could also be used as a reference to the world port and how it's decaying and how that's where Quixis and everything happens every time Icarus goes in there. You could also make an argument that it's about Purgatory and Fable. Don't go with him, don't go in there and subject yourself to that, because you could become more of a monster than a man. More of a loyal soldier than yourself. More of a guard dog than a person. Sage, don't go down that hole, turn those lights off, because who knows what will happen. Don't side with him, because you'll become the monster you've always feared becoming, and you'll become the person you never wanted to become. Sage! What the heck? I liked that a lot. Alright. The devil you know. Denial time. It's denial time. Whole idea of Icarus not remembering, but also wanting to not remember. Yeah. Icarus seeing the way people react to them, the way they don't want to remember that person. Sure, right now, they're not the most amazing person, but they can tell that they were so much worse before. They don't want to remember that. It's better to just remember the devil they are now, the person they've become, the devil they were before. Yeah. Because Icarus is the last person to get their memories back. And is such a, I want to be disconnected from that. I don't want that to happen. And clearly I did something wrong. Speaking of doing something wrong, what did I do? Season 2 Icarus runaway arc. Yep. The lead up. Yeah, just the whole lead up, if that, the idea of wondering what they've done for months and months, the proposal of Arena and the fallout and the way that ran. Yep. The whole idea of them not knowing what they did, who they were, the whole idea that them wondering what they did to be looked at like that, what they did to be talked like that and threatened, what they did to make their family, the only semblance of stability even during season 2, so afraid of them. And almost the idea that they were afraid of that and scared of being viewed in such a way, the idea of this an active fear they have. Yeah. Did the line, did I say too many things in vain to friends, to lovers, to family? Did I cause them pain at any stage? None of it was meant intentionally. That's a line in the song, and that's the line that's the banger for me. Did I say too many things in rage to friends, to lovers, to family? Yeah. That's the line. in that song that makes that hit for me. It's not the same anymore. This is, this would be remembering. That's remembering, baby. Very much Icarus remembering. Fine. I'm keeping on the arc. I'm keeping on the... Alright. Very much Icarus, but less remembering. That's not immediate. Oh, fuck yeah, I remember. More of it. Oh, fuck, I remember. That idea of how now they remember nothing going back home, nothing within town is going to be the same. None of it will have the same connotations to it. None of their relationships with people will be the same, because now Icarus knows, and now they're knowing to be far, far more cautious with their words and their actions. It's not that they're the same, how they remembered how miserable they were. Additionally, that kind of whole idea about how they should be happy, and they should be happy now that they've remembered everything that they know now. But really, in the long term, remembering everything just makes it so much harder to navigate everything. Vibe at the end of the song really gives that after all of this, the prison arc part 2, Icarus is trying to make up and fix their relationship with their friendships and everything better. Fix them up and pick up the broken pieces. Yeah, that. Anyways, let's be happy about remembering this time. Thank you, Nights in Wonderland Art, for the 3 months. Oh, 2 months? No, 3 months. You silly goose. Could have been me. Remember, but we're happy this time. Don't think about all the consequences and bad feelings and everything that comes with remembering you're a horrible person. Only focus on the fact that you remembered. And you can now go home and definitely totally be incredibly happy with your family again. All jokes aside, that's very much the vibe the song has. The whole idea of Icarus being incredibly happy that they remembered everything, that they can go home finally, that they don't have to stay out of the middle of nowhere alone because they're terrified of hurting people. The whole idea that everything they want to do now, that they remember and they know where the line is. They know what they can say that won't toe too far over the line and trigger someone else. Yeah, they get to be happy maybe for a second. Just a second. Scrolling. 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 Prison time! Oh, to be. This is Brutus. That's a CMV. But it's not in that context here. Oh, to be Icarus Morningstar upon opening their door, post-remembering and seeing David Centros misfail. That whole anger and upset that Icarus holds for Centros after they remember. The anger at what he did, what he didn't do, what he said, what he told him, the anger of what they left him with, the anger that he got to talk to Endirian. He got to hear her, listen to her, and know her, and Icarus didn't. He was her favorite, and God's how that made Icarus very angry. The whole idea that anger carries over, how Icarus so desperately wanted what Centros had and didn't get it. That they now remember how they want to make it known just how angry they are. And the whole idea of the action of putting them in the prison. Prison song time. Guys, they're angry. They are. Absent. Similar to Brutus, that's just anger. And Centros for all of this. The anger that everything he did and everything he said and everything about the Endstone reset. Also the way that they don't believe that front because he's put since in front of the beginning of the reset. They don't believe he's the good guy up front that he's tried to keep up since appearing this reset. The main character. It's the whole idea that they can do this, do what they're doing to Centros, and keep doing it because there are worse people than them out there. There are so much worse people than them out there, so they can do this because, well, they're better. They're not bad like a lot of people. This idea is okay because of everything else. Yeah, that's the bit. That would be the bit. Let's more prison songs. Is this a line by line stage? Is this a line by line stage? Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Just all of the angry Icarus holds for Centros bubbling over. This is the act of putting him in the prison. Yeah. They need to make it known that he's not welcome. The idea that they try to convince both themselves and him that no one would ever care if he just disappeared. And well, welcome to the first day of like 4 more detailed line-by-line analysis because I'm a loser. Don't you know you're not even welcome around here? Just that whole idea of Icarus being willing to lock him away because they believe what they want him to believe, that he's not welcome. And he's not welcome, and therefore that makes his following actions okay. I think you should go before you cause some drama. Almost the idea that he needs to leave, he shouldn't be here. The whole idea that they should leave before they do something. The whole idea that if he stays, regardless if he does something, they're going to hurt him. Don't you know I'm the one you should fear? That's the line, baby. They want him to be afraid of him. They want him to fear, so they finally have that upper hand on him. Want him to be afraid of them like they were afraid of him after they got out of the prison. Want him to know that fear and want him to be able to get their revenge. Talk to me if you've got a problem. Whole idea of Icarus wants to be the one to deal with him. The whole thing of no one else dealing with Centros because the way Icarus thinks he should be dealt with. Yeah. Icarus is like, I'm the one that has to do this because nobody else will. This is also, you can code that as the prison is prison, but prison is therapy. All 3 prison arcs, putting Haley in the prison, getting put in the prison, and putting Centros in the prison is the one time. Well, let's talk about specifically putting Haley in the prison and putting Centros in the prison, right? Because that specifically is the act of, for once they're not alone. For once they have someone there, and they are going to, whether or not they know that, absolutely use the fact that there is someone there to talk to, someone that they can go to and do there, even if it's in this text of like, you're in prison and I hate you, but also here are all of my problems, what should I do? This happens in both arcs. Haley in the prison is literally Sherbert's therapist during Ominous Bane, until Sherbert says, I don't need that, I'm gonna kill you. And Centros is a very similar thing, of where Centros is dealing with all of his issues and asking him to help Sherbert deal with their issues. And it's a very toxic way to do that, but that's what's happening. And I wanted to go on that tangent. I can't believe you used to truly scare me. Because he did genuinely scare them. After they were uncorrupted, they were genuinely, truly scared of him. However, like this with the offer that Icarus can stab him, the way he just lets himself get put into the prison, he's really not that scary. They can't believe he used to genuinely scare them when he's just almost pitiful like this in the prison. You were like a ghost story told to keep me wary, but I never listened, no, I slept good till morning. Arguably, he was the one telling him the ghost stories, the warnings he'd tell them, the arguments they'd get into, the way Icarus never healed them, only pushing further and further until they tipped him, or themselves, over the edge. Icarus would just sleep it off, because that's what they always did. And when our paths finally crossed, I didn't heed the warning. Similar to that last line, Icarus didn't heed any warning. Icarus just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and arguing with Centros over and over and over again. They push, 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 push. Yeah, you pushed me to the edge. Haley, arguably. Centros was part of the reason Icarus killed her in the first place. That they need to prove to themselves, not only to Endurian, but also to Centros. They need to prove they weren't useless, they weren't a failure. They could be of use, and Ominous Bane weren't just there, that they could do something. I used to dread the thought of falling quickly. Something, something, reset, something, something. Yeah. Well, they don't remember them or know about them at this point in time. The whole idea of falling like that. Also, arguably, the whole idea of falling into an ideal and thought process that they don't like to do that quickly. They don't like falling down a thought rabbit hole without thinking and considering properly first. Even they do that incredibly often. Now I wish you to send me off that ledge so I can finally take you with me. But also that idea that if it meant Centros was going down with them, if falling down a thought rabbit hole, if falling down and doing something terrible meant Centros would go down with them, if pushing him to that point meant they'd go down together, 2 birds, 1 stone and all, no one could get hurt by him again. Oh, Icarus would gladly fall down. They'd gladly let themselves mend if they could kill or hurt to do something that meant they were going down together. Tasty! Tasty! Tasty. One of the other things that I'll talk about, because we're still in the prison arc, but one of the other things I haven't talked about a ton, or at least seen people talk about, Icarus has remembered everything, right? But they don't believe everything they remembered. Part of them doesn't want to acknowledge that what they are thinking could actually be true. And the whole thing leading up to when Sherbert actually kills him, and he has a totem and he lives, is yelling at him saying that you're the one that killed Haley. It couldn't have been me. I'm not that kind of person. You killed Haley. You killed Haley. And he's just going there and going, no. No, it was you. And I'm gonna stay here until you deal with that. And it's so... I don't see that take a lot. of Icarus, like, as the prison streams go on, will start saying things that they did, but that Centros did them. Oh yeah, when you blew up Will's house. Oh yeah, when you trapped Athena. Because they're trying to separate themselves and put it all onto Centros, and that's the point of the prison. And that's what finally gets them to break, is when they finally do kill him and realize, I was gonna kill you. I've killed before. God, I love the prison arc. Okay. I wouldn't kill Haley, kill Centros. Yeah. Blood in the water. Yep. The whole idea of Icarus being so very angry at Centros for all of this. The whole idea there's literally blood in the water. He tried to kill all of them, and he did kill hundreds more. That whole idea that Icarus doesn't plan on letting him go anytime soon. They want him so desperately to know just how what they did to make them feel. Also, you poisoned me just for another $1 in your pocket. Yeah! The whole idea he let Icarus dig themselves into this hole, he argued and argued and argued and pushed and poisoning their mind with thoughts and words that stuck. There's a TikTok to this song. It's my favorite prison TikTok. Beg me for mercy, admit you were toxic, you poisoned me just for another $1 in your pocket. Now I am the violence, I am the sickness, won't accept your silence, beg me for forgiveness. That's the line, that's the bit, that's the bit.
I know you're speed running, so goodbye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Going to Dutch Bros.
Oh, are you coming back?
No.
Oh. It's that line, and go watch that TikTok again. It's like one of my friggin' favorite friggin' TikToks. And that's why when Centros did Prison Centros, I said, you're gonna duet this video. All right, let's make it fruity, shall we? Shall we make it fruity? They hate each other, yes. However, what if they held hands about it, maybe even kissed about it? Just like the whole idea of how season 2 prison arc, they were really each other's only company. They were alone, but alone together. Yes, they hated each other, but they still had each other. The whole idea Icarus was alone, but they still had someone, regardless of how much they hated each other. Also, hey love, have mercy on me and keep me company is just very Centros to Icarus. Just the idea of wanting mercy and wanting Icarus to stop hurting him, but also wanting that company because they were alone. Yeah. Both of them had some serious issues to deal with, and they picked the 2 worst ways to deal with it. Number 1, getting put in a prison. Not a good way to deal with your problems. Number 2, kissing about it. Not a great way to deal with your problems, but they did both of those. Let's continue that train. Goner. They definitely still hate each other. They, like, absolutely still hate each other. They're arguing and fighting and snapping at each other at every fucking opportunity the longer they get Centros in the prison, especially more towards the end. Centros is just being as snippy and antagonistic towards Icarus as they're being to him. That whole idea of Centros snipping at him, the idea at least he fights back when he's imprisoned. However, arguably, they probably also kissed about it. They hate each other, but, like, sometimes you have to acknowledge the other person is a little kissable. You look so damn appetizing. Yeah. Many of these lines imply they at least kissed about it. I agree. At least. Yay! Okay, so this is one of the we can move out of the prison now. we can move to post. Oh, that's Darkness Falls. Where are you? Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. It's this one. Alright. Forgive me, Chester. Very the end of season 2, the season 2 reset. The whole idea that seeing 3 people you spent your life chasing after all once all in the same room, the idea of fighting the warden, the idea of trying to get Fable out, the whole idea of trying to finally chase the bad away, chase the resets and the warden and the anger and the bad of all of it. Yeah. Verse 1 is very much talking about Haley, verse 2 is about Centros, and verse 3 is about Ray. Yeah, I think I said that in the stream when you guys made me listen to it. Something about the brothers and their relationship being good for that bit at the end there. Alright, gamers, let's get into the terrible angst. Rock and God's shoe. I guess the general demeanor of late season 2. Yeah. Trying to figure out if Fable getting out would actually help, even if Icarus really wants him back. And the whole idea of trying to figure it out if he will actually be on their side or not. The worry that after everything that happened with Perix that maybe he isn't. The idea that Fable not giving much information and trying their absolute hardest to figure out how to get them out. Also, the tiny best at the end is Icarus to Midas. I agree. It's glitchy, it's Icarus to Midas. I said that in the analysis stream. Rock and God's shoe is the one time that Icarus can realize how much they want a god's approval. Like, Icarus's entire motivation is based on approval and recognition, specifically from a god. And the end of season 2 is one of the few times where they kind of can realize that. And it doesn't happen again! Alright guys, it's moon sickness time. I could yell about moon sickness for so much. And I know this is a line-by-line one, so here we go. Very much the season 2 reset. The annoyance at Fable, the annoyance and anger at Quixus. The very demeanor they have towards Quixus at the end. Being done with them and being annoyed at them. Seeing themselves as a failure because of course they fucked up the thing that was supposed to help them. They can't do anything right ever. Fuck up everything they touch. Also, hot take, Midas talking to Icarus and Fable and almost the Grove in general. Okay, yeah. I feel like mostly Fable, and while I have thoughts about some of these lines, take more specific, silly analysis. Not every line, just some I picked, because I picked all the lines, we'd be here forever. It is a very long song. Alright. Everybody knows this place is dying, as am I. Something about Midas dying as the world port does, decaying and falling with their realm. Something about the season 2 reset showing the world literally dying, falling apart, crumbling, and everyone knowing it. Yeah. So much Quixus coded in this. I might not get another chance. Midas switching Haley and Fable. They knew they probably weren't going to get another chance to try and stop Fable like that, as well as the whole idea of the Grove having one chance to open the portal. They, Icarus especially, was the one who put Perix's soul in the frame. Fully thought this was their only opportunity to get Fable out. Obviously this is proven wrong in season 3, but they didn't know that. If they only knew that I am such... By God. Something about Icarus seeing themselves as a failure. They couldn't even get their father out correctly. Why can't everyone just see how much of a failure they are? They can't see how much they ruin everything they touch. And arguably, Midas as well. Whole idea of them failing their duties and to bring Icarus when they were supposed to, leading to do so many worlds decaying. I'm the worst mistake that God has ever made! Sort of that same idea as the last one. The idea that Icarus seeing themselves as a failure, only this time it's more related to their dad than themselves. They made them, they're his child, and therefore they see themselves as that badly. The worst mistake he's ever made. They're a terrible fucking person and they're a failure. Yeah. I will also say the line in between this, I got 100 hours to rearrange the stars. That's Midas. I'm running out of time. I don't know if you talk about that line, but that line in particular is Midas. But I make lemons out of lemonade! That's not the saying. Whack, 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 whack. This line is so very much about the whack. Something about changing things from one way to another that shouldn't be possible. Yeah. Lemonade out of lemons. That's it. Lemons out of lemonade. How the hell did you do that, you witch? In your guts, you know it's all destroyed. Okay, Midas to Fable. Something about Fable knowing that this world is dying. Something about how Fable would know the outcome of doing all of this. He would know that Ray would figure it out one day because of the resets and it wouldn't go well. His relationship with one or both of his sons would be destroyed. Also maybe Midas to Icarus. The whole idea of the world is destroyed and their chance of getting Fable out, at least this time, is also destroyed. None of us belong. Everything I do is wrong. And yeah. Something about everyone being pulled in the resets from different time periods. None of us belong is a great line. Being shifted and tugged and placed into the present, but not quite belonging there. Something about how Icarus tries their very hardest to be good, but so much of what they do ends up being wrong on so many levels, but it's all they know. Something about how Midas tries their very best to fix and fix and fix, and they can't, really. It always ends up going wrong. And in your blood, you know what's right. Part 1 of this. Midas to Icarus, the whole idea that Icarus has Fable's blood running through their veins, if they believe he is right. Even if in the moment they don't know him well, they don't remember him well, they subconsciously think what they're doing mirrors Fable's own actions is right. It could also be Midas to Fable. It's a slippery slope decline and explain it, though. I understand where you're going there. And in your bones, you know what's wrong. Yeah. Midas to Icarus. Something about Icarus so often knowing but not acknowledging what they're doing is wrong. Icarus knows it's wrong deep in their bones. They really do, but they really can acknowledge that. Could also be Midas to Fable for similar reasons. I need to talk more about in your blood you know it's right and in your bones you know it's wrong. Because this is, to me, of course, Sherb doesn't know this at this point, but Icarus and Sherb being half and half of who they are as a person. And in your blood, so in this metaphor, the blood is Sherb, right? The blood going down their face, that's Sherb. And their bones are Icarus. And it's saying that in your blood, you will do the right thing, and in the bones, you will do the wrong thing. And also that they're flipped, as the bones are the thing that's right in their body, and the blood's the thing that's wrong in their body. That was one of the lines that made it for me in this song. Your blood, you know it's right, your bones, you know it's wrong. I think that's a great Sherb and Icarus line. Not that Icarus really knows what they're doing at that point. And in your throat, you know you're lying to kids. Yep. Midas to Fable. Not literally kids and children, they are his kids and he's lying to them. Fable lying to his kids and he knows it, not acknowledging that ever. This could also be about Athena. And reflecting on season 1, Ominous Bane. And nobody belongs in this hell. Yep. Hi glitches and resets. What's up? Midas to Fable. Something about Fable knowing none of them belong in this hell, but resets and everything. Should probably just let life run its course and let it go as it should, but he doesn't. He's dooming them to hell and none of them belong in, and he knows they don't. I'm God's worst mistake. Yep. There's Icarus. It's again just that whole idea that they think of themselves as a failure, especially after the portal glitches. They can't keep doing this. At some point, they're just a mistake. Arguably could be seen more directly with Quixis, the way Quixis made them with the eye and the all. I like God's worst mistake about Fable, too. I like it more so about the God being Fable. But it could also be Goddess Quixis. You seem happy on the knife's edge, but I just licked the blade. Midas to Fable. I like your interpretation here. It's different. The idea that Fable kind of hovers on the knife's edge, but never tips over it. He toes a line about a tether over. On the way, Midas will gladly tip over that line, lick the blade, and not in this case, they go down, tether over that edge. Folk won't do it quietly or unnoticeably. Yeah. And the worst mistake your God has ever made. It's all the lines, baby. Arguably Midas to Icarus. Fable is the reason they couldn't get to Icarus. Fable is the reason they're like this. And arguably, Fable is the kind of sort of Icarus's God. The whole idea that Fable is the reason for so much between Midas and Fable, and now Midas is angry. Mistakes is in cases in the bad thing. Mistakes is in this case is more Midas is about to make their anger very much Fable's problem, and it's his fault. I like that. I will hydrate. Wahoo! Hydration. Invisible hand saver. Bring up your definitions, even though it's life and death. Invisible hand savior. Midas to Fable. Fable in this case is the invisible hand. He saves Icarus for every single reset. He is the savior. Bring up definitions every time he does it. Yeah! Even though it's life or death, he probably absolutely should die and should be dead, but they're not. He's literally fucking up definitions every time he rips a page out or does anything to as it is. I love that. That's wonderful. Don't you think it matters when we wish our friends the best? Something about Fable wishing Ray and Co. good luck and figuring out what the races were being caused by. When he was the one causing them, it should matter that he wished them luck and doesn't, considering he knew. Midas being angry for most of this song is tasty, Sage. I like it. Because of all this bullshit, I'm not anything at all. Yeah. Midas in general. Something about how they're really trying to fix everything now, but they're not really a person anymore. They're alone and they're almost God and they're angry. Yeah. There's nothing to believe in and there won't be till we fall. Look at that line go. This line goes far deeper into the finale and things than it should. It sure does. This is Midas talking to Fable, but for once they're not being an asshole. They're lumping themselves in with him. So think about Fable dying at the end of Fable and Midas passing their torch. Metaphorically falling and dying. The way it leaves room for new gods people will actually like and believe in and won't cause harm, and something about Midas knowing that until the both of them are gone, no one's going to properly believe for a while. That line goes ridiculously hard. Sage, you went so hard for moon sickness. I can't get the numbers right. I can count because not one goddamn thing is in its place. Midas to Icarus. Yep. Or vice versa. Something about the whack changing and altering so much. Neither of them are really telling nearly them anymore. Nothing is like it should be, and it hasn't been for a while. The world port is decaying, and soon Midas will be too. Icarus isn't themselves. They haven't been themselves in a while. The eye isn't theirs, not that they know that. All of the purple isn't theirs, and some of the members aren't theirs. Nothing in this place, and it's really fucking shit up. It's all built on lies. Midas to both Icarus and Fable. Yay! Just the whole idea of how Fable manipulates and abuses in the way he does, twisting words and fabricating truths lies laid within the grounds of a truth built on things objectively very false. And in Icarus's case, the entire life and personality is a lie. They act so differently alone than they do around others. It's all a front. Everything they've built up to this point, and so much of what they build to season 3 starts, is it's all built on lies and half-truths. Ow. That hurt. A lot. Anyways, Midas is angry at them. Yeah. Alright. The beast refuses to die, so I guess, well, neither can I. That's so... And arguably also leans heavily into finale territory. Yep. Mostly with the things we know after the fact, though, the whole idea that Fable can't die. He refuses as long as he's immortal, he can't. And if Fable is alive, he's actively keeping Midas from Icarus. Midas can't pass the torch. Midas can't die. Something about how Midas fully thought they were going to die upon passing the torch to Icarus. If Fable refuses to die, meaning they can't reach Icarus, then Midas can't die. Because what happens then? The world port is left without an overseer and the whack gets hundreds of times worse? No, that can't happen. So they power through it and let Icarus see it to the end. That's tasty. That's a lot different than like my interpretation of moon sickness. Like when I put it on the playlist and why I put it where I put it is so much just Icarus self-reflecting, self-degrading. But I really like the Midas take. There's a couple that are really, really tasty. Tasty words. All right. Section 5. You died. Deal with the consequences, Icarus. Let's change the music. Season 3, huh? Season 3 music? This is probably this. Cool. All right. Is there anybody here? Season 3 break, my beloved. I love this song for the season 3 break. That's the song in a very, very loose nutshell. The season 3 break both in their time in the world port as well as their time here. Just the whole idea of trying to find quicksets and then trying to find something knowing that they can hold on to. The idea of looking for something, anything, anyone that can help them because they don't know where they are. Yeah, they're trying to find their way back home and are struggling because they don't know how. Yeah. Maybe, man. Oh, Icarus's mentality. Very much the whole mentality Icarus has in Icarus in season 3. The idea that they don't know how they are, not anymore. They're just kind of floating. The whole idea of trying to figure out who the fuck they even want to be in the first place. They don't really have a direction. They just want to be something. Something that will please people, make them smile whenever Icarus passes by because they're doing good. Maybe man is so... Okay, world, what I'm doing clearly isn't working. What do you want me to be? Maybe man is a banger. Chasing you, it's Haley time. It's Haley time. It's Haley time, baby. If I want to put a rundown on what a song means for Icarus, where would I put it? You guys can post it in the, okay. If you guys want to add to this, if you have things to say, you guys can put it in, you can put it in Fable General in my Discord. You can put it in Sherb General if it's a little bit more Quixis coded. You can put it on Tumblr. You can put it in the Fable Discord. All of the above. Yeah, it's tasty. It's tasty. Okay. I think Hey Hey is about to go live. From what I understand. From what I understand. So, we're gonna break here. Alright? And I'm probably gonna have to send you guys off. Alright? But I'm gonna continue reading. I'm gonna continue reading through them, alright? And I'm still gonna be recording, and I'm gonna post it in the VOD. But it's a really cool stream. It's gonna be really good, and I want you guys to go see it. Okay? Alright, picking up where we left off. Okay. Chasing you. The whole idea of how Icarus has spent the past year trying to bring Haley back, trying to figure out how to fix her and their mistake. Yeah, the whole idea that now she's back, that now Midas brought her back. Icarus doesn't know what to do. Icarus doesn't know how to act around her. They can and cannot, should and shouldn't do. It's far over a line and isn't. Less voting and, floating a lot less knowing what the world should do about it. Yeah. Chasing New's fun, because there's like 3 or 4 streams where it's Icarus and Haley, and they're both like, and Haley is like, look at the lights, and I think they're good. I like them as a duo, if you couldn't believe. Okay, the garden. The things, whole idea of Icarus getting so done and incredibly over Quixis and the whack and the changes, and us, yeah. The whole idea of wanting to dig them up and out and remove them completely no matter the consequence, no matter where it would get them in the end. The whole idea of how Midas knows their name. We often have to figure it out in the way they don't, and the way more often than not we can chat and snark at them and passive aggressive, sometimes being rather helpful. How they don't like that. Yeah. I talked about this before, but the crows are our chat, the birds, which I think is funny because you guys, you should have been birds. Okay, New Eyes. Thank you, Sage. Sage gave me this song, so 2 samples. Yeah, Ulysses stream TM. Just Icarus is about the 2 eyes in general. Finding out the purple eye's blood isn't theirs, the following realization that the blood isn't theirs and the eye itself isn't theirs either. That the want the need for people, Midas to stop changing them to give them their eye back, so they can't see with new ones, they can see with the eyes they were always supposed to be theirs. General idea of needing to things to be brought through a new end, see things better because they're suffering and hurting and no one seems to see it, and how one day the fact that might kill them. And well, it does, doesn't it? Well, that's mean. Sage and their ability to be so normal got this one on the playlist. We win these, yeah. Sage has an Icarus playlist that I sure listen to, and there's a couple of them, so. Oh boy, it's unlocked time. I'm gonna change the music for this. I'm gonna change the music for unlocked. Hold on. What's a Panic? This is a Panic song. Yeah, let's go with it. Alright. The Tornado. So very unlocked. This is the unlocked song. It is. Whole idea of them being used to the whack, almost being surprised that it just kept getting worse. The Wings running to the bunker and yelling at Midas. Fable finding them, and arguably the aftermath of the Wings, and there's just few streams following unlocked where they were just trying to heal and fix and clean up the path they made. Okay, yes, Quick's Ascension, yes, but we're not that part in the playlist yet, so true. The end of it. It's just the end of it. And well, more detailed line analysis because I'm a loser. If there was ever a song, it's this one. I yell about this. I almost went and made my own edit to this song of Unlocked because of how I tag it. I literally almost went and made like a proper just like Minecraft clip edit that you guys make, and they're really cool. Anyways, it was just starting to drizzle as I walked out the door, but I've delivered papers in the rain like that before. Yeah, the rain is the whack. Whole idea of the whack being weird, being worse, changing their house more than normal, changing them their clothes more than normal. This was okay in their mind because what's the worst can happen? It's done this before, and every time was fine for both them and the other, so I worry about it this time. Yeah. Important to note that the rain, the tornado, is the whack picking up. So it's saying, like, in the rain like that before, it's like, well, it's been happening for years, bro. Okay. 3:30 in the morning, I was happy as a lark. Idea that Icarus was so very happy to get Fable out. They were happy and excited because this is what they'd been working for months and years and resets. They've finally been able to do it. They might have been a little worried, but they were mostly happy, yeah. Wind was picking up and howling louder all the time. Oh, the music picked up, sorry. The redstone beginning. I guess that's timed right. As they were all standing in front of the now open portal, the way they weren't expecting it, the way they just kept picking up and getting worse no matter what they did to stop it. The sky turned like a cauldron as the distant thundered roars, and I knew that I was in for quite a storm. The redstone picking up, but also the fact that Fable hadn't come out yet. They've been waiting and waiting for others to get to him for minutes now, and it's beginning to worry everyone outside the portal, the idea that they knew something might be up, either with Fable or the whack. Little rain never hurt no one, so I kept pressing on. Up to this point, the whack hadn't hurt anyone, well, with the exception of Icarus, yeah. Sure, it had hurt and changed and whacked animals and blocks and all that, but never Icarus's friends and family. It hurt them time and time again, but they were fine after all of it, for the most part with the exception of the many breakdowns and the eye. Why should they keep worrying about others getting hurt? It had never been severely hurt them like that, so they just kept going and standing there and letting it worse by the assumption that it wouldn't do that. As it's about to do that to Mom Boo. It's fine. Try to tell myself that is always darkest before the dawn. Yeah, the way they were so desperately trying to convince themselves that it was all okay. The group in Purgatory will bring Fable out and it will be okay. The whack will be fine and it'll stop and it'll be just a small little bad thing before the Fable get back, and the desperate way they try to convince themselves it'll be okay. Yeah, time and time again Icarus does this. Lightning struck an oak tree as I leapt off my bike. This is Mambo, right? The way the redstone just bad keeps getting worse. And the time it goes on, regardless of what they do, it gets worse and they can't seem to stop it. The sirens started wailing and there was no good place to hide. The whole idea that Icarus really, really wanted to run. They wanted their dad back and they wanted the whack to stop because this kept getting worse and they really, really just wanted to run. But they couldn't because running would make things so much worse. So they don't run, they stand there and let it keep getting worse. Yeah, I knew without a doubt there was a twister touching down. Yeah, the idea that they knew it was only going to get worse and worse the longer they stood there, without a doubt, but there wasn't anything they could do about it. They had to just power through whatever happens like they always do. A little bit of courage I had left was almost gone. Something about the beginning of Unlocked and they were mostly okay. They had some bits of courage, but the longer no one came out of the portal, the longer all the redstone did was get bigger, and longer they just stood there, more courage than that just faded. Yeah. The nightmare started, it got deafeningly loud. Mambo! Mambo. I like your timing. This could be Mambo. And then the nightmare started. It got deafeningly loud. Yeah, red started getting bigger and the whack hurting her somewhat other than Icarus for once. The way they almost immediately panicked and ran, or at least tried to, and then following moments running and trying to fly in their wings, shattering. Every fiber in me screamed out, but I couldn't make a sound. Something about the screamed as their wings broke, but about the panic after was so very quiet. They weren't screaming, they were just hurt and in pain and weren't going well. We're trying so desperately to keep it under wraps. They refused to let themselves break at any point in the run in the bunker, but refused to let themselves fall apart like that. They wouldn't, they couldn't. Fun fact about that scream, I filmed it in my car. I went out and I was like, all right, Haley, I'll be back in 20 minutes. I'm gonna go scream in my car. And I sat there and I had my phone and I was listening to the tornado. I was literally listening to the song to get me like hyped up to that moment, and then just like actually screaming as loud as I can. And I ended up having to like tone the volume down because it was so loud. Fun fact. Sounded like a freight train was dragging me to hell. Something about the particular way the wings sounded when they shattered. It's so loud and overwhelming. They crystallized as Icarus fell. Even louder, they shattered against their own weight and Icarus back. They dragged Icarus down. Metaphorically dragging Icarus to hell, I suppose. I accept it. And this was my prayer. Yeah, this bit. Icarus yelling at Midas. This line is so Icarus yelling at Midas, both on their way inside the bunker and the way they just wanted Quixus to stop. They know they just kept doing all of this to Icarus and their friends. And they just wanted Quixus to stop. They wanted to be someone to be there for them and save them because gods, they hurt so bad. That was when I saw my family with my eyes shut real time. And it's literally Fable showing up at the bottom of the bunker. They literally see their family. They literally see their... Something about how they just wanted this to stop. Their eyes shut in denial of the past delays creeping back up on them. I'll switch the music now because we're technically out of the pain bit. I hope you like my music timing. We'll do this one. All right. Would they know how much I love them? If this is how I died, would they? Dang, Sage. How many times does Icarus tell their family they love them? How many times do people tell them that? Their family just know how much Icarus loved and cared about them if Icarus died. If they died like this with no one around. Damn! It's true. There are not many times where people say, I love you to Icarus. It's very rare, and it's mostly Ray. Only a couple times with Fable, so I know you guys have talked about that before, but no, I've vowed I'd not be murdered by a monster in the sky. Yeah, think about it, the injury could have killed them. It didn't, and they definitely didn't want them to, but it could have. They wanted to do so desperately survive and not let Midas's actions get the better of them. They vowed it wouldn't happen. Yeah, monster in the sky is Midas of like, all right, no, I'm over this. But if I went home to heaven, at least that's where I'd belong. Yeah. Midas would have pulled them before they died, just like they did in the finale. If the injury didn't kill them, it would have been where they belonged because they were meant to become Quixis decades ago, and that the world port Quixis was supposed to be their home for years, and yet it wasn't. It wasn't where they belonged, but at this moment, they're not there. There was nothing but destruction and wreckage in that town. The mess the past and the Wath made. Yeah. The redstone in front of the portal, the tree, their wings, it was all a mess and destroyed, and for at least for some of that, there was no fixing it. It was just destroyed, and they had to deal with that. That was how I learned to live when you can run, but you can't hide. They could run from hurting Mambu, and they could run from the whack, and they could run from their rings breaking, but they can't hide from it. They have to deal with the consequences of their actions. They can't hide from it. They have to see the tree, see their mistakes, see their bad nearly every day. They can run from it, sure, but they can't hide. How it feels to be trapped in a tunnel and come out the other side. They're trapped underground and alone. Somewhat Fable's doing his whole isolate his kids, those attachments thing. But they come out of it eventually. They get their wings back. They can fly again. They may have felt trapped for a time, but they made it out. For sure, man. As with all the stormy weather in the world, you can tend to take life one storm at a time. Pulling out the character analysis card, Icarus gets very focused on one big thing very easily. Hey. Their wings, they wanted to fix those. They spent weeks trying to get better. And you're talking to Ray, they weren't so incredibly stuck on that until they made up. The more obvious one from season 3, Centros. It was a 5-month-long storm, but it's all they focused on. They take their life, especially during season 3, one big problem at a time and focus on it and nothing else, because focusing on other things means acknowledging just how much you're hurting, and they can't do that. I mean, it gets Icarus, though. They want to make it to the end going like that. It's not healthy, but they make it. Damn, Sage. I keep hanging on. No matter what happens, no matter how close to death they get, no matter how much death would probably keep Kinder at a point, Icarus is still there. They keep hanging on and living and just keep going through the motions. Yeah, and that's like when you get into the beep beep boopies, it gets into like Icarus' ascension to me. But it's so unlocked. Tornado is so unlocked, man. It's so okay. Recovery arc. Let's change the music. Recovery music is that one. Birds. This is from Thomas Sanders' musical, Ultimate Storytime. Whole idea of how after Unlocked and during Unlocked, Icarus just wanted to relax. They were done with hurting and upset, and they really just wanted to sit alone with the flock. They wanted to be calm and relax and not have to think about anything of what just happened. Yeah, Birds hits for me a lot. I found that song during that arc, and I was like, whoa. And it's such a, like, this is the point in the story when it's Fable's domestic arc. He's not evil yet. He's just kind of like, oh, maybe a bad dad. And Icarus actually, is forced to take a break and sit in their injuries, but in peace. And, like, Icarus is such an interesting relationship with loneliness, because they're so, like, centered around being alone and loneliness, but the one time where they get that, like, during this era, they find how peaceful it can be. Like, an aspect of it they never saw before. But overall, it's really just terrible for them, so there's that. Look Who's Inside Again. Unlocked. Yeah. Look Who's Inside Again is Fable. Goated. Just someone outside looking in at Icarus in the moment after their wings break. The song specifically being more about Icarus's desperation to get to the bunker and the feelings while inside it. just putting the prison itself into a box, into a prisoner room to keep people safe. They had to keep them from hoarding people. They're back here again, trapped in a box with no way of getting out until someone comes to get them, yelling at the person who, for all intents and purposes, put them there. They're back there again, inside again. I like that take. Whole idea of Fable, after he gets out, beginning to isolate the cage and Icarus, yeah. With the guise of keeping them safe. He's removing them from their friends and family and leaving him as the only person Icarus can safely, at least in their mind, rely on. I have further words about Fable and Icarus in regards to this song, but that's really getting into the again aspect of this. Ooh! Viewing this through the lens that this is Fable isolating Icarus and the visions of a child shown throughout the song, it's not terribly hard to come to the idea this probably isn't the first time Fable did this, isolate the cage and manipulate Icarus. The whole idea of manipulation abuse has been going on for much longer than we see on screen. It isn't a new thing. He did this before and he's doing it again, and Icarus just has to deal with that. Even if they don't know, he did this when they were a child. They don't remember any aspect of themselves. Yeah. I was a kid who was stuck in his room. I see that, like... I mean, like, I think a lot about, like, Fable and Icarus's relationship, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot about Fable and Icarus, specifically as a child, and, like, Fable trying to be a good parent, but having the same problems that he has when we see Fable parenting Icarus in season 3, and it's I can't even call it parenting, manipulating. That's fun. I like that take. I like that. Let me make you proud. Wow. The whole idea that, yes, Icarus has failed and made mistakes, disappointed Fable to probably time and time again, but they really, really, really want to make it up to him. They want to make him proud because they feel so much like a failure after everything that keeps happening. They want to make all their mistakes and missteps up to him. They want to make it up to him and keep trying and trying and trying to do that, and arguably failing rather than often. Yeah. The line, maybe I make things a mess and maybe you're right to have doubts in me, is so much, I know you've been watching me and how much of a fuck up I am. But this is all I want. All I want is your approval. All I want is that approval. It's tasty. It's tasty. Thanks, Tangled, for that one. Thanks, Tangled, for that banger. The fruits. The animatic. The whole idea of how Icarus so desperately wants to help Fable and all he's doing, but the idea of how Fable can't see that they're not entirely them. Yes! Can't see how much they keep falling and repeating history and just how badly they're doing. The whole idea that they can't help him. They can be the person he wants them to be, and he's trying to make them into because they're not entirely themselves in the whole sense of them. They can't be that if they're not entirely themselves. They can't help him like he wants them to, and how they spiral because of that. Yeah. The fruits is so, he sees me as his angel. He is a god and I am his angel. But I know I'm not. Physically or otherwise. I know I'm not that person. But dear God, am I gonna try. Okay. Loser baby is the drinking stream. Okay, we can get... Actually, we won't change the music yet. We won't change it yet because after this it goes downhill. Centros and Icarus! Kind of to each other. This song is so drinking stream coded. Yeah. Realization of how similar the two of them are, how much they have in common, just how much they're both going through in the same shitty situation. They realize they can rely on each other. The realization of how they're so incredibly similar, especially regards into Endirian and Fable, how they're both losers. They're both having a bad time, but they can do it together, which arguably they've known for a while, but it becomes a lot clearer in the drinking stream, especially with Icarus calling Centros their best friend. Yeah. The drinking stream is such a pivotal point, because like time and time again we see that Centros is one of the only people that can get Icarus out of their house, right? It's Centros and Ray mainly, and like I don't know, the drinking stream had such a connotation to it when we did it, because well, point A, we were dating, right, in the real world, so there's that aspect to it, which like it has the vibe in the song, but like the drinking stream is such a pivotal point. Like we knew that was the last time they were gonna get to do anything. Like we knew we wanted to do this drinking stream, not just because of the sub goal, but that this was the last time that they were gonna get to relax. And there's such an aspect of Centros knowing that the whole time, that this is the last time he's really gonna get to like hang out with Icarus. And that's where he has to see the cave. Like, he has to see the cave in that stream. And like, even if they're both drunk out of their minds and gone, he knows. And it's so... Loser Baby does a really good job of just like Centros trying to cheer Icarus up, because Icarus like actually opening up and being like, I'm not doing good. I'm not. And him going, that's life. And me too, man. And it's a song from Has Been Hotel, so... Down the river. Hi, Athena. What's up? Breaking Bonds. This song is so Athena to Icarus. The whole idea that Icarus likes to run and hide and leave the past and everything they've done behind and not acknowledge it whatsoever. However, they can't do that. How even if Icarus wants to forget and leave and run, the others aren't going to do that for them. The others are still going to remember all of this and all they've done and what happens to them. The Grove, once Icarus leaves and decides to ignore it, what happens then? What happens to all those people you've hurt? There's, some good lines in Down the River. I remember after Breaking Bonds, I was listening to more of the Crane Wives and I was like spam messaging Athena. I was like, Athena, you know Down the River by the Crane Wives? You know the stream we just did? And it's another like moment of Icarus dipping back into like the same tactics they used in Ominous Bane. And Athena being like, bro, hello? Icarus being like, oh, well, my dad's here now, so it's fine. Oh, okay. Music change. Hey guys, what's up? Centros just died. Where's my Little Nightmare song, but the other one? Where's the Little Nightmare song? This one. Alright. Centros's death. Hero. The way Icarus just spends that immediate moment after fading and trying to convince himself it's okay. They're okay, and he's okay, and he'll be back, and it's okay. Them just trying to convince themselves it's alright, and trying so desperately to comfort themselves in this hell. Arguably, also almost their anger at Fable for killing their best friend. The immediate sharp anger and bared teeth, I'm the hero of the story, don't need to be saved. The idea that Centros just saved them, but he shouldn't have had to. They were the hero of the story, no one should have to save them. Nobody should have to die doing that, even if they tried. Icarus's whole thing is trying to save themselves, figuring out ways they can fix themselves. No one should have to die because Icarus couldn't do that. They're a prince. They're supposed to be alone. People shouldn't have to die because they weren't. Yeah, repetition is something Icarus does naturally, and this song harks on that. And specifically the line, he never ever saw it coming at all, I think is really ironic because he did see it coming. He knew it was happening. He knew exactly what that was going to be. He knows he dies. But Icarus can't even fathom that he would sacrifice himself. He clearly couldn't have known that was going to happen, even though all the times he said he was going to die. Can't catch me now. It's ghost time. Centros almost like taunting Fable and trying to comfort Icarus. I was always going to be there for Icarus. He's always watching over them, even if he can't tell them and show them that physically he is there, but almost taunting Fable in regards to the fact he can't catch him now. Fable will not find him no matter what he tries and attempts. He will see Centros everywhere, be reminded of him just as Icarus is, and he will not find him. He won't be able to bring him back. Yeah, can't catch me now is, but I'm in the trees, I'm in the breeze. And it's the stream where Icarus takes down the wall. And sees like him, not a ghost, him as a god, but the same thing that happened with Haley. Alright, do what you gotta do, shall we? Thanks, Descendants. That short bit after Fable kills Centros where Icarus just yells at Fable, that snark, that anger at Fable that did that. Fable's argument that he did what he had to, and that was necessary. Fable did this, killed Centros because he had to. Icarus should just hear him out. The whole conversation between Icarus and Fable after he kills Centros, and the whole falling out between the two of them. It's the slow manipulation from Fable's end as the conversation continues. Also, Fable's whole being a god thing. Yeah, do what you gotta do is funny. Listen, listen, little girl, you're talking to a god, and then, not as sad as you without your powers. So funny. It's so, he just lost his powers, bro. We'd make jokes about this song for a really long time. All right. The cave. Centros to Icarus after the cathedral. How he will be there for them no matter what. How he has other duties to attend to. But also how he can't stick around due to the fact Fable is currently killing every god in sight. Taking every power for himself. How Centros wants Icarus to know he's there for them, but can't physically be there. He'll try his hardest to keep them alive and hardest to keep them going till the end. Yeah, that's the song, baby. That's the CMV coming sometime this year. I'm gonna do it this year. It's just kind of summer now and would suck to film, but I am gonna film it. It's the cave follows the whole story of Centros' life to me. So, all right, it's coworkers time. Let's switch the music. It's time for Toxic. This one. All right, there we go. Paid in exposure. This is Nate Wants to Battle. Very much coworkers. The whole idea of doing what they're told and becoming A, coworker, and B, one of the bad guys. People's stereotypical bad side. Yeah. It's the, I was never meant to fit this mold, is Icarus, physically not being able to fix this mode. And I'm simply doing what I'm told is Ven. And I'll paint it up and watered down to a shell that's hollowed out is Ari. And I love it. I love it. Great song. Banger. Natural. Same thing. Also co-workers. The whole idea that for them to be on this side in this war, they have to be assholes. They have to be cold and sharp and not care. The whole idea that they're good at it. The idea that all three of them are good at that because they're almost naturals at it. They don't have to practice because they can settle into that role far, far too easily. Also, rather be the hunter than the prey is incredibly co-workers because they all know Fable's hunting the gods and hunting people down, and they'd rather be beside him as he does that than cowering beneath his sword. Yeah. Hey guys, it's Burning Pile. The whole idea of wanting to put all your problems in a big pile and just light them up. On fire, kill them, get rid of them, ignore them. The whole idea of wanting to get rid of all your current problems, all the shitty stuff you've gone through, just get rid of it all and never properly look back. You burnt it, it's gone, and you really don't have to think about it anymore, or that's the dream at least. Not really what happens in the end. It's true. And it's a CMV. Go watch it. Can't go back. Yeah, this is when we start getting Icarus self-deprecating. I'll change the music to the late season 3 intro music specifically. Which, if you've ever noticed, this is only ever used in the isolation arc in season 3. I never used it before that. Waking up and not being... There's different intro songs I used, but this is one of them. Whole idea that Icarus should forgive themselves, how most of this isn't really their fault, how they should be learning to forgive themselves for that, not blame themselves for the stuff that isn't their fault. Also, the whole idea that none of this is fair. It's not fair to them, nor fair to Fable, nor fair to anyone in the Grove. It definitely feels like Violet trying his absolute hardest to comfort Icarus the best he can. Yeah, I think this one's person duo coded. Even though he can't physically be there with them in the moment, he won't be able to for a while, and even while he was able to be there for him at the end, it wasn't very long. Let's self-deprecate, shall we? Try to change by Mother. How Icarus just keeps trying to change, and they're trying so incredibly hard, and it just keeps failing. The whole idea that they can't find it in themselves to change, there's the safety in it. It's always been like this. Why wouldn't they just keep going and be like this? Why would they try? There's no point to it. It's safe like this. Their dad likes him like this, so why would they change into something he wouldn't? Oh, Icarus and change. It's such a double-edged sword. Changing themselves and the changes around them. Try to change. Banger. Let us all down. Yeah, we're this in my mind is also kind of Athena. The Athena stream where the wall breaks. There's another one coming up, but it's the whole idea of how the Grove feels about Icarus working with Fable. Arguably, they all thought Icarus could be good. They gave Icarus so many chances. They didn't think they'd go this route. They didn't think they'd be involved in Centros' death like this, and they didn't think, and Also, arguably, Icarus spiraling. Just thinking about what people would say, what people would think, and how they would feel, and how they would react. Kind of short of 2 shall break, 2 shall mourn. I can accept that. I can accept that. Post-killing Mambu. Post-killing Mambu. Oh, boy. Not that one. Not that one. I need the there we go. Lima Bean Man. I had this song on the back burner for so long waiting for this stream. Icarus about Mambu. Icarus so desperately wants Mambu not to be dead. So desperately wants to be able to bring her back. Not necessarily telling herself she isn't dead, but that she can't be dead because that means they killed another person. That means they did it again. And Shots follows right into that. Same stream. Icarus to everyone, basically. They're so sorry that they're breaking down and killing Nearing every day at this point, but they just can't stop killing people. Why do I kill everything I love? Yeah. They're so sorry, but they also need everyone to know that they're in too deep. People aren't going to be able to save them now. Not through normal means. It's not going to happen. They need to let Icarus drift away because if they don't, more people will only get hurt. Well, I want to elaborate on the statement as it speaks for itself. Your friendly reminder that Icarus did not truly hate their father when they killed him. True. True. Icarus still some sort of semblance and love for him even at the end, even after everything, even as they stabbed him and then trident on his chest revealed he was never going to bring Centros back. Why do I kill everything that I love? Icarus absolutely loves Fable. Absolutely. And one of the things that I think hurts especially with Icarus is Icarus absolutely loved Fable more than they loved Isla. And I'll leave that there. You can dissect that. I'll leave that there. Prodigal. Let's switch the music. Let's get a little bit spooky with it, shall we? What's a spooky song? What was my spooky song? I mean, that could be my spooky song. I'll leave this. I'll leave it as this for now. Alright. Prodigal. The whole idea that where Icarus is right now is all their own fault. They caused it, it's their fault, and there's nothing they can really do about it. They're alone, they've dug themselves a hole, they've fallen down it because that's all they do, really. They can't get out, and it's their fault. It's all their fault, it always is their fault. Yeah. Prodigal, it's your own damn fault. That's the one. Hey, solitary confinement. What's up, man? What's up, my good bro? Sage, this was a devious read. They're alone. After Mambu, after their conversation with Athena, they're alone, confined, and they're okay with it, almost. They wanted to push people away, wanted to be alone because it really makes all of this so much easier, but they really wish they didn't have to do it. They didn't have to push people away like that, didn't have to do this to everyone and themselves. They do it, yes, because in the end it'll benefit them to do so, but they really don't like doing it. They're spiraling. Really, they have been for months. A devious read by yours truly. Sherb Quick 56. This one was, it's the, I made this in my post about the songs, but, the chorus of this song, man. Yeah, go listen to it, honestly. Hey, look, it's Two Shall Break. Oh, it's good. It's a line by line. That's great. This is a line by line. That's great. Okay, now what I'm about to say might sound like horribly wrong because everyone kind of looks and this goes, oh, there's the prophet Haley. And to that I say, nope. No, the prophet is Midas. The song is Midas talking to Icarus about their future, regardless of how this goes, because Midas would know what would happen after they draw their final breath, so to speak, so Midas would know. Haley wouldn't. Also because I'm a little loser, and the fact the song really lends itself to this line-by-line analysis. It does! It's a freaking prophecy, man! It's literally a prophecy, so, touche. I like the Midas take. I'm on the Haley side, as in just because she is, but, like, I see your point. I see a song of past romance. Perhaps talking about Mabu. The sign could be very ambiguous. You could also argue wet birds, but I'm not sure that really fits. If you wanted to go the prison to a rat, you probably could. Past romance is... There's a double-edged sword to no longer you. There's the Fable interpretation and the Icarus interpretation. I say Mabu for this. As in, you killed her. Yeah. I see the sacrifice of man. Centros. Lines about Centros. Sacrificing himself to both save Icarus as well as the rest of his family. I see portrayals of betray. Yeah, this is about Jamie. Showing the family they had and the family they want. And a brother's final stand. It's called A Brother's Final Stand, man. It's the name of the stream. So hard to save his brother and failing because they just don't want. Why did the Quixus music start? Why did the Quixus music start? Okay. I see you on the brink of death. Yeah, they are going to be. Icarus after they kill Fable. Really, Icarus throughout the last week-ish. Throughout that they're on the brink of death. They're dying. They have been for almost 5 months, but after he dies, Icarus is left so much worse off because Fable isn't around to keep Quixus' powers at bay. Yep. I see you draw your final breath. Jumping. Thinking they were going to die and fully accepting of it. I see a man who gets to make it home alive. Yeah. Icarus gets to live, man. By just pulling Icarus into the world or alive, telling them they will get to go home back eventually, but it's no longer you. It's not Icarus after that. They're Quixus. Person Icarus would become after all that time in the world port, after leaving it, would be starkly different to the person that entered it. They wouldn't really be Icarus anymore. It'd be Icarus, of course. They'd know it, but they'd know and have changed that they wouldn't be the Icarus they were. It just really encompasses those last few months of Icarus' life before becoming Quixus, and those last few months of pain and desperation and bad. Monster! The whole idea of how Icarus will be the monster if they have to. They'll kill and slaughter and murder and be the monster if that means they make it to the end. If they get to bring everyone back and fix everything. I've done 10 million line-by-line analyses of Monster. It's so... I just killed Jamie. I scream saying that stuff in the car, man. Done hurt. Done hits. Sad. Sad Birdman. I hope I never get sober. No children. God, this song. I'm switching the music. I don't have the music that I need. What music did I play when they were being isolated? You know what I mean? What was my isolatory music? I know what I want right now, but where is it? Where is it? What do I want right now? I probably want airy, huh? Okay. This is very much Icarus' mentality at the end. About Fable and Array and about everyone. Yep. The idea that they won't have to be saved anymore, not like this. The idea that if they have to go down, they're going to take Fable with them. The idea that they really just want Ray and everyone to give up on them. And arguably, that idea that if they die, they want Fable to come down with them. Well, here's another far more said details of line analysis. Yep, not the last one either. Touche! I hope that our few remaining friends give up on trying to save us. The whole idea that Icarus doesn't want to be saved, not like this. They don't want to, and they don't think they're deserving of it. They're fully hoping that Ray gives up on trying to save them. Yep. I hope we come up with a failsafe plot to piss off the dumb few that forgave us. What they didn't know, it'd be a failsafe. Jamie. At this point, there were very few people still trying to save them, and to really their knowledge, it was just Ray. And to them, to those people, that was the tipping point. For that last week, they were left completely alone because they'd finally pissed off the people trying to save them. Yeah. I hope the fences we mended fall down beneath their own weight. Yeah. Very similar to the previous line during family reunion, arguably, Ray and Icarus kind of had mended their relationship. Yeah. Icarus didn't like that. Icarus really hoped that he just let it go. He really hoped that the weight of everything would mean their relationship, whatever Ray thought was left of it at least, would just crumble. That Icarus would just hold on to him and their family anymore, because holding on to it means there's complications and attachments, and they really can't have that, just not now. I hope we hang on past the last exit. I hope it's already too late. The whole idea that Icarus was in too deep. Yep. Icarus was going to hold on, stay attached to Fable until the very, very end. The whole idea that Icarus very much thought, very much hoped that they were too far gone, and this was too far, far too late to turn back now. In my life, I hope that I lie and tell everyone you were a good wife. Whole idea that Icarus lies about nearly everything. Yeah, they lie about it so much that it's really all they do and hope to do. B, the idea that they so desperately want everyone to see their father as a good person. They so desperately want everyone else to think he's a good person to the point that they will lie about it. They hope to, and they will get the opportunity to lie about it. I hope you die. I hope we both die. If he dies, they don't have to do this anymore. Just the whole idea that if he dies, they do not really truly have to continue to do any of this. You can fully and completely leave it behind, and God's how they really want to do that. Also, arguably, the whole idea that they don't think they're worth saving. The whole idea that they think everything up and ruin it regardless of how much they're trying. They both die between now and the end. This will all be over and no one will have to get hurt anymore. Their family will be safe and sound, and they won't have to stress out about themselves or their family or whatever their father is doing. I hope I cut myself shaving tomorrow. I hope it bleeds all day long. Eyeline. The idea that Icarus thinks they're deserving of all the hurt and pain and sorrow sent their way. All this pain and suffering and all the way it's constant, they fully think they're deserving of it. They fully hope it keeps happening solely to prove a point. It's not the time or place to go on a rant, but I would like to bring up how after Centros dies, whenever Icarus gets really injured, unless it's a dire, they refuse to use potions on themselves. Even when it is dire, they're almost hesitant about it. Yeah. Icarus does not use potions on themselves. Icarus, a person who has treated their own wounds for years. And there's enough angst about Icarus having treated all of the injuries they've gone to and then choosing not to at a certain point. Our friends say it's darkest before the sun rises. We're pretty sure they're all wrong. Ray thinking he can save Icarus despite everything they've done and despite all they've been through, and Icarus knowing he can't. Regardless of what he says, Icarus knows they're in too deep and knows that Ray can't save them or get through them very easily. I hope the worst isn't over. Ties back to the line before the last. The idea that Icarus thinks they deserve all the pain and suffering they're going through. It's their fault. They deserve it. Maybe they don't really like it very much, but they do understand where it's coming from and they can agree with, because deep down they know what they're doing is very wrong. I'm drowning. There is no sign of land. They're falling deeper into this little pit they've dug themselves, and they can't find a hand to hold, even start to trying to climb themselves out. They are lost and alone, and no one is there to help, and they know it. You are coming down with me, hand in unlovable hand. The idea that if Icarus goes down, they'll try to take Fable with them. The idea that both themselves and Fable are seemingly unlovable, and at least in Icarus's eyes, the two of them would go down hand in hand. Be one of their faults, they drag the other down with them. Also, arguably, Icarus and Midas as well. If Icarus goes down, they want to drag Midas down with them. If Midas goes down, they'll inevitably have to drag Icarus down with them. The two of them are so intertwined that if one goes down, they'll drag the other whether they want to or not. I like every time you're like, but it could also be Midas. I'm like, yeah, it could, man. It could also be Midas. What am I doing over here? Just minding my business. Anyways, Mr. Author. Now Icarus really just wants this all to stop and finish up. How they've been going on for so long and they don't know how much longer they can keep on going like this. They want to talk to the person who wrote their story like this, talk to the person that keeps letting them do this, want to talk to the author ruining their life. Mr. Author is coded. I like it of Icarus and Midas and Sherbert and Rena. It's the quote unquote overseeing beings that they can blame all their problems on. And to some degree it is their fault. So L to me. Yeah, I wrote your pain. It's goofy. I want... Where's before the story? There it is. Oh, this song. Icarus. This is the sad one that Fable is singing. Something about Fable realizing, however small, that his actions are hurting Icarus. How Icarus is hurting and dying and how he can't fix it. He's not going to be able to fix it. Them. Make them do what he wants. Make them be what he wants them to be. He can't save them in the way he wants to. They're going to die, and God's he won't be able to stop it. Specifically, right at the end. Fable's death by his own son's hands. Yeah. People have started doing this, but Fable as Daedalus is maybe a better metaphor than Icarus is Icarus. Like one of the when we were naming Icarus, Fable in Haley's words names Icarus not because he sees himself as Daedalus, but because he's going to be his own Icarus. But Fable as Daedalus is so even just like this song and like I am a craftsman and you are my son. It's like, bro, yes. The child I created cannot be undone. Like, god damn, man. You know what I mean? It just, man. Let's self-reflect, shall we? All right. Another one from Thomas Sanders, the bad guy. The whole idea that all Icarus wanted to do really and truly was fix everything, but that's not how it went. They went to bad places to fix things and they became the bad guy. They didn't want to be, of course, not again, not after last time, but that's what happened. They became the bad guy and they're finally realizing it. Only it's really too late because they're dying now. And same for In My Blood. The whole idea that this is how Icarus is going to be. This is how Icarus is and there's no changing it. How it's in their blood to do this, to be like this. How there's no stopping it. No turning back. In My Blood is crazy lyric-wise, man. When I was a boy, you were like a god I worshipped, father. I heard that song and I was like... I know Sage has like a different post when I was like, Sage, go listen to In My Blood and live react to it on Tumblr. Because, goddamn. Alright. Daniel and Dan. This is the finale. So it's that whole idea of Icarus killing Fable, and the following way that they attempt to move on. The way Fable was killed by the ones you think you love. Icarus, yes, but really everyone contributed. And arguably, almost that bit of anger Icarus harbors towards Fable in the end. The idea that he wasn't ever going to fix this, that all this pain of suffering was for nothing. Yeah, also the fact that this felled in this song, it's like, whoa, man. Whoa. So they're a god. Section 6. They're kind of a god now. Question mark? Maybe. I don't know. Icarus is. Yeah, they're a guy. That's for sure. Let's do... This is... I know this is a line by line, so... Here we go. I'm gonna make an odd choice in song. Ruin by the Amazing Devil. They have a conversation. This is simply Midas and Icarus having a back and forth conversation about the mistakes and Quixus and all of it. It's very hard to summarize, so hi, line by line analysis, welcome back. Alright, Icarus. I will bring you ruin in everything I do. Something about how no matter what Icarus does and no matter how hard they try, they ruin their things. Their family, their house, their friend's house, their life. They bring the people in their life, including Midas and including themselves, ruin and pain no matter what they do. It's never my intention, but it happens all the same. Icarus rarely means to hurt their family and friends like that. It's rarely their intention, but it happens. They can't stop it from happening, be it because of the whack or because they're trying to fix something or they never mean to hurt people. They don't like hurting people, but it just keeps happening and happening and happening. It starts with love and comfort, becomes a strength of will. Arguably, talking about their time in the 3 resets they remember. It started good and okay because slowly became their goal to just survive. Became the strength of will to just keep going after every little thing that just kept happening. After all the death and harm and suffering they'd experienced because they had to fight to keep going. But all that strength made rubble of the towers we built. Icarus going on like they broke so much. The world port, Midas, themselves, the overworld, it all fell apart. It was all unstable because of them. All of that kept falling apart into rubble because of them. And arguably, possibly because of Midas. And that's why it says we. Because brick by brick you built us. And I'd fill in the cracks. Midas helped build this world, this life for Icarus. They built it brick by brick. Keeping Icarus from being Quixus so young gave them this. A family, a life, safety. Midas built it, and Icarus made it. Theirs. Yeah, man! That's banger lines! That's a banger line right there. Nothing quite prepares you for when they don't come back! I love Centros. Did you know that? Icarus wasn't prepared for when Centros didn't come back. Wasn't when it wasn't just a fluke. They weren't prepared for being alone and by themselves for that long. They weren't prepared for him just being dead. That was the line that made me like my jaw drop when I was listening to it for the first time. I wish I'd done things different, but I wish that I'd been brave. Something about wishing they'd home and like getting Centros back differently. Not killing people, not doing any of that. Something about wanting to be braver. Be braver to leave him and side with their brother and the rest of their family and not side with the person who killed Centros and killed so many people. Something about wanting that. I wish I'd known these stones were something I could save. I wish I would have known that I could have just been Quixus and fixed it. Arguably something I wish they know they could have saved Midas so much earlier. Yep! Could have taken up the role months, years ago and saved Midas so much pain and bad and suffering. Yeah. Alright, Midas' section. Our mortar was your laughter. Something about the funnier aspects of Midas changing things. It kept them together. At least for a little bit. Kept everything okay and alright. The silliness of it all. Obviously that didn't stick for long. Shout out to Midas' silliness and Hei's playing of Midas when I was vibing. And you hold the curses at the land. Icarus yelling and ranting, being so angry at Midas. The anger that Icarus just let boil simmering whenever something bad happened or upsetting or just annoying happened. We didn't talk. We made universes out of bitten lips and broken hands. Something about how Icarus and Midas never talked. Sure had the book in their comms, but they never really properly talked. Somehow, despite that, they built things through their pain and hurt. They built friendships and lives and all of that without even talking. We made universes is a banger line. You said, I love you less than when it all began. When it first started, Icarus didn't think anything of it. Wanted to know what was up, but they weren't really worried. Icarus at the beginning thought it was kind of funny. Didn't really care what it did, but by the time went on and Midas lost more and more control as the whack got worse and worse as it broke more and more, the less and less Icarus liked it. It lost its novelty once it started hurting people. I said fewer because I make jokes to show how broken I really am. Wow, he's broken for real! Something about Midas communicating very directly with the whack in their comm and the things as the end came closer and closer. They stopped messing around and the jokes and the silly changes they used to. It just became for serious calls for help on both ends. Beyond direct communication, the interfering with things that could get Icarus hurt or killed. Gone to the jokes and the small, silly, laughable changes replaced with the calls for help and calls for something because Midas was dying and so was the world port. Something about direct communication was a lot more spread apart in comparison to Midas's jokes. And in the wreck of all we burnt stands our piano like a wound. Something about how in the wreck of everything Midas has done and everything Icarus has done, the two of them still stand tall, alive. Something about how so does the world port. Despite all the decay and all the things it's been through, it's still alive and it's still going and it's still holding all of the worlds it's slowly getting fixed and... I'll play our song to see if it's in tune. Arguably something about letting Icarus seeing the end of their story. Letting the song play rather than stopping it far, far too early. Letting Icarus live and learn, seeing they'll make the correct choice even if the song is in tune. I promise to be patient. Something about how Midas kept going no matter what happened and no matter how much it seemed like Icarus was too far gone, no matter how much it seemed like Icarus wasn't going to make the right choice, Midas persisted. They were so patient with them, waiting and waiting and waiting until Icarus did it. And you promised to be kind. Something Icarus never really wanted to hurt their family. They just wanted their best friend back and something Midas telling them that knowing that they will be a good Quixus. Something to be Quixus, you need to be kind and considerate and things like that. Something. Promise to be kind is such a... Because Icarus, like, doesn't believe they can be. After everything, like, after they've proved that, like, their nature is to be evil. We can rest, you say, in the pieces of what's left or what we've found. Guys, we don't know where Midas is. But we do know they're somewhere. Something about Icarus taking up the mantle of Quixus means Midas finally gets a break. Midas finally gets to rest and relax after so long of not being able to and having to constantly be doing something while watching everyone. Midas can just rest. Wherever that may be, we've yet to find out. I wish I'd done things different. Oh, I wish I'd made it right. Something about how even Midas doesn't regret what they did. Doesn't regret leaving Icarus to live their life. Doesn't regret keeping them from being Quixus. Part of them probably wishes they'd done it differently. Something about wishing so many people didn't have to die or worlds decay, or something about wishing they'd made it right earlier so they didn't have to go through nearly as much pain. So they didn't have to go through feeling like their body was decaying from the rot from the inside out. Yeah, I know you have feelings about that, Sage, I know. Something about wishing that not regretting, not truly how you did it in the first place. But we'll burn 100 theaters if it means we'll get the wallpaper right. Something about how Midas would let the world port fall apart, let worlds die, let them self-die, if it meant Icarus got to see the end of their story. That is exactly what that line means. If it meant Icarus got to live and their whole life had been written out, they'd let it all die, let so much decay and fall apart until it wasn't even decaying them. Until it was even decaying them. If it meant Icarus didn't have to be Quixus so young, and then they were younger than Midas, if it meant Icarus got to say goodbye. Nothing quite prepared me for when the piano sang again. We don't know exactly what Midas has been up to for the past 2 months since the finale, but I feel finally getting a break and centuries passing on your title, finally being yourself, or mostly yourself again, wouldn't be something you prepare yourself for years of being alone. Something about not being prepared or able to rest and be yourself again after so long of not being able to do those things. Tomorrow I'll do things different. Maybe a bit more Icarus than it is Midas, mostly because there's not much difference. More Midas can do not now, not after so much time has passed. Something about knowing what happens when you wait to bring a Quixus, and about vowing not to do that again, and put all of the Sherbs through that a second time. Something about vowing to be different than the person you look so much alike. Something about vowing to be different than Fable. Tomorrow I'll be brave. This one is Midas. Something about finally being brave enough to pass on the title of Quixus to Icarus, and being able to let it go, give it up. Even if it was just the end of Icarus' story, even if it was the only logical time to pull them and pass it on, it was still brave. They waited so long. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. God, Ruin, man. This song is crazy. This song is wilding. Anyways. Icarus and Apollo! Something about Midas living vicariously through Icarus. Something about Icarus showing Midas so much about life and their world and everything. Something about, in turn, Midas showing Icarus how to be Quixus. How to do this job correctly and not fuck it up like they did. It's the whole idea of Ascension. Yep. 505. Oh, 505. Guess Midas after Icarus ascends, the idea of going back home and not really knowing what awaits you. You have an idea, a concept of what might be, you're fully prepared for. The idea of them knowing they'll have to leave it after Icarus takes their place or something like that. 505 is a fun one. 505 was one of the first songs I grabbed that was meant to be finale era. And to me, 505 is Icarus leaving. Before Icarus was gonna die, is when I picked out this song. But getting to see everyone one last time, and there's a couple of specific notes and bits in the song where it's like locking eyes with Ray for the last time, locking eyes with Haley for the last time, stuff like that. Oh, hey, look, it's Show Yourself! Icarus to Midas. I just want to know what in the world Midas wants with them, what to do with them. My Midas is following them. Whether changing stuff they are, the decay, the eye, they just want to know, but also promptly ignoring Midas more often than not. Yep. You are the one you've been waiting for all of my life. Who you are. They're supposed to be Quixus. This is exactly who and where they're supposed to be. The song feels really Midas talking to Icarus, telling them all of this is encouragement that they're going to do good, and it's exactly where they're supposed to be regardless. You are the chosen appointment to be who you are. I have been sitting and waiting and hoping. I have been sitting and waiting is crazy. You were the chosen appointment to be who you are. It hits. I love Tally Hall. The last goodbye. Something saving the multiverse with another version of you. Crazy. This is very Midas and Icarus coded how Midas was willing to go down hand in hand with Icarus if it meant the multiverse was surviving. Also how Icarus was completely willing to take up the mantle of quickness even if it meant the people back home couldn't remember them. So think about how they both think they're gonna die. Yeah, they absolutely both think they're gonna die. And it's such a song. Thanks, Markiplier. Thanks, man. Still feel... Hey guys, we're into Icarus, gamers. Dying over and over again, being reset over and over again, and yet they still feel alive. Fable pulled them from the grave more times they can count, and they still feel alive despite all the times that's happened. Because this is where they're supposed to be, despite jumping. They're still here and still alive, and they're still living. Still feel is a big one. I always saw this as like the equivalent of like a Bow's song, but specifically floating in outer space, have I misplaced a part of my soul, lost in the in-between, and I can't it seem it out of control. Very Icarus to me. Outer space themes for the world port. Mwah. Kiss. Oh, hey, wet birds! Back to black. Oh, so very wet birds. Think about them genuinely only getting to say goodbye without words. They didn't hug, they didn't touch, no, only words. Think about Ven going back to when he got to be pulled out, going back to Fable, and all the consequences that come with it. The whole idea Icarus isn't going to go back like that. They're going to go back to the present day, and they're going to remember him. We only say goodbye with words. I died 100 times. They both did. They both died. They're both dead, technically. Icarus should have died. Ven should have died. They're both alive. It's crazy, man. Great song for them. I said that to Ven, and I was like, oh my god, wet bird epilogue. And Ven was like, ah. Anyways. Spring in a Storm. I love the epilogue. Feels very general epilogue post-finale times to me. It's just everyone off doing their own thing, having fun and being happy, reminiscing about the past, sure, but having fun and being good all the same. If you want to look at it through an Icarus-specific lens for some added angst, Icarus watching their family and friends grow and be happy again. Gain things while they couldn't gain before while they're in the world port. Watching their family grow and get to be truly happy while they work on cleaning up Midas's unintentional mess. Yeah. Icarus's lines in my version of this of create until nothing is left to create and the universe goes with an overworked sigh and pretend to be recrown the creation. It's so there is no god of creation anymore. Create until there's nothing left to create is such a like I may be Quixus, but I'm still the child of creation. And I really like that interpretation of it. I may be Quixus, but I'm still the child of creation. Pretend to recrown the creation, which is talking about the overworld and the world trying to probably find Icarus because they're supposed to be who should go and be the replacement for Fable, but there ends up not being one. Just pretending to be one. There isn't a god of creation anymore. I love Spring in a Storm. Ghost Song. Oh, hey! Just the whole idea of how after becoming Quixus, Icarus isn't really seen or known anymore. How they so desperately want to be. How they so desperately want to be seen and known and live, but they can't. Not for a while. How at this point they're just a ghost. Changing and lurking, an entity everyone knows the name of, but not knows properly. Also, that almost goes the whole idea they spend so much of their time watching over the grove while in the world port. Changing and altering small things so people, even if they won't know until Icarus comes back, know they're there. Ghost Song hits, man. I've ranted about it before, so I'll move on, but I've ranted. Alright. Introduction to Snow. Hi, Icarus. The whole idea that Icarus is a Quixus. They're alone. The world port is empty. No one is physically there with them. They're alone. They can't talk to anyone no matter how much they so desperately want to. This is how exactly where they're meant to be. Alone at the edge of a universe, humming a tune. Yeah. Yeah, Today is one that hits for me. It's the very end of season 3 coded. How accepted Icarus is and how they were just crying and they couldn't seem to stop regardless of how hard they tried. The whole idea of time going on so much slower in the world port, how today to Icarus must feel so much different now. Also, just the whole idea of being stuck between places, having everything to do because everything up in the world port. The whole idea of so much happening in all the worlds they're watching, and so much to see and watch and understand. Today doesn't have many words in it, but I have several songs that I believe are songs Icarus would listen to. Specifically Jack Stauber songs. One of them is Inchman. I think is the one that I'm talking about specifically. Hold on. What's the there's another one that I'm missing. Hold on. Let me look for something. Why am I forgetting the name of this song? Inchman is the, yeah, okay, it is Inchman and Keyman. Inchman is very Icarus waking up and doing regular return. Like, that's the turn when they wake up, they hit the song, and they're going and getting dressed. And Icarus has habits, you know. I, out of character, have OCD, and I very much project that onto Icarus. And the idea of being Quixus, and Icarus still has their calm as Quixus, and I said this on Tumblr. They still have tunes, and Today becomes the new song, because it's taking it day by day, which is actually day by day by day by day by day by day. Today is one of those days stuck between yesterday and tomorrow. Because time is moving differently. You're not in yesterday or tomorrow. You're in today, everywhere, all the time. Everywhere to do, everything to go. I don't know, just like mysterious little Quixus man. And then, what's the number? Hold on, pause. Hold on. What's the number? Count the teardrops, all 114 of them. Thank you. I couldn't remember the words. Count the teardrops, all 114 of them. Dude, I have not given a number on how many universes there are, because I don't want you to be able to calculate how long Icarus has been Quixus. I don't want that to be a number that you guys can perceive. Sure, there is one of, like, logistically this is how much time passes in the world port, and I know you guys have done the math of, with the like 12 or 13 worlds, how long that is, like, in comparison to real time. But 114 of them is the closest you'll get to a number of how many Sherberts there are. Count the teardrops, all 114 of them. Let's look at every door and see how every version of Sherbert is doing. 114 is the closest to a number you'll get. Section 7. Group songs, but an asterisk to the first 4 because I wrote those pre-stream and pre-playlist reorganize. Pretty sure, but why did you do that right before stream? Touche. Alright, so this section of songs I've talked about is each line is tagged to its different character. It's meant to be everybody singing. It's not Icarus specific. So I'm very interested to see what you have to say. I'm also going to swap back to regular music because we're not in the angsty times. Alright. Machine! The downing of Fable's ideals. The realization that maybe they, Icarus, aren't doing the right thing by doing this. How they don't really want to be a part of this anymore. How they don't really want to be a part of Fable's machine, and they don't want to be a tool in his toolbox. Yeah. None of people here, any members of the Grove throughout seasons, want to be a part of any of this. Want to be or want to do this, want to see any of this. The idea they don't want any more resets. They don't want any more people to go through this. They don't want to be a part of the revolving machine Fable has built for them. Yep. Suburbia Overture, Season 1, baby! There's the whole idea of how Icarus is just angry at Fable, how they're beginning to doubt him, his ideals, and how they're just angry at the concept he won't bring people back. This was all for nothing, and seemingly an eagle at everyone. That's fun. Very to season 1. Yeah, this to me follows the timeline of season 1. That's my tagging of it. Enemy. It's a trailer, baby. Something else, especially in the end, everyone wanted Icarus dead, gone, or both. They didn't want to be friends with Icarus. They'd been giving too many chances, and no one was willing to save them anymore. Everyone wants to be is Icarus's enemy by the end. The idea of everyone at some point being each other's enemy. At some point, everyone has been on the opposite sides with everyone else in the grove, meant everyone else was going to side with one of them. Yeah. And all of the gods telling everybody to look out for themselves on the side that you're on. Search season 2, baby. Icarus the mentality right at the end, going for something, that anything to save and fix them regardless of what, searching for something they won't find, looking for something they can't see, and the whole mentality towards Fable, anger, annoyance, or mad, and how the end killing up, how he almost killed them. Yeah. I like your interpretations of them as not as group songs. I like it Picasso. Whole idea of everyone like looking for something they can't find to get back, can't see, and the idea that over time they all slowly grow anger towards Fable and the resets and everything that's taken away from them. Icarus's lines in the search. So this is season 2, right? This is the one I tagged to season 2. And I could release my tagging of these. Icarus's is the one about a mirror. I'm looking at the lyrics right now. Hold on. Go back up like I don't want it. Oh, so dad's edge all deafened. Okay. Doesn't mean much though when your health declines. Yep. The point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place. That's Ven, baby. Moment, okay. Yeah, so Icarus's lines are these. Is this showing up on the... I'll move this for 2 seconds because this is specifically the search. I have this tagged. This is like the whole season 2 crew. Sales can rise, doesn't mean much though when your health declines. That's chaos. About something we're trapped inside, trying to suffocate, you know, hoping to die, or hold underwater, you know, always survives, and it comes like a nowhere with an evil surprise. It's Action Oshi. That hovers over you until you're in the middle of the life. You don't relate to that, must not be as crazy as I am. Axe in the Telkin lab. Point I'm making is the mind is a powerful place. Once you feed it, can affect you in a powerful way. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah, but it's not always safe. Just hang with me. It'll only take a moment, okay? Then, propaganda. This is Icarus. Just think about it for a second. If you look at your face every day when you get up and think you'll never be great, you'll never be great. And not because you're not, but the hate, but it's a way to find a way to cut you open both and murder your faith. This is Icarus's section, and specifically self-deprecation, not thinking you're you. I like look at your face and think you'll never be great, because it's not you. The hate will always find a way to cut you open, murder your faith. Yeah, I would love for Sage for you to look at like just this section, because this is the Icarus line in this song. This is tagged like crazy. I also really like the end bit. Look at me, everybody. I'm smiling big. That's Athena. On the road right now that I can't predict. That's Illyrion. Tell me tone that down, but I can't resist. Endurian. Oh, sound that better, the raise your fist. That's Netherum. And the search begins. I'm back, so enjoy the trip. That's Fable. It's almost on the screen. Sorry for this tangent about this song. All the group songs are tagged like this, where it's like one line, etc. Let me get this back to where it's supposed to be, and we'll continue. I just had to go on a tangent for a second there, I guess. Okay. Misery Fell! I feel like you could argue this is either the very end of season 3 coded or just the Grove coded in general. So think about it, they're constantly going through terrible, terrible things, constantly having misery fall upon them. Yeah. I have this, I mean, it's a CMV, right? Season 1, pre-Ominous Bane. It's getting into Ominous Bane times. When you're in Adams, tag it, baby. How living in the Grove is often a wild experience. How to be prepared for anything, really, because you never know what's going to happen next. Never know what gods are going to get involved with, whatever people are going on a harming spree. Yeah, when you're in Adams is tagged. I think I'm really funny. It's like season 1. When You're Adams is season 1 tagged. That's why it was on here. Ready as I'll ever be, Perix fight coded. I had it on here as season 1, but you're right about the Perix fight. Faction preparing to fight Sable. Something about getting ready for this big battle while the other side doesn't take the same as that. Yeah. Ready as I'll ever be is tagged good as well. Guys, we're almost there. Alright, we don't talk about Bruno. I feel like you could argue either Endirian or Fable, the Grove singing about them respectively. Endirian mostly after season 1, while singing about Fable more now. Probably don't really want to talk about much of that, and far into the future it gets. Yeah. Bruno is either Endirian or Fable, and that's the CMV snippet that we were gonna do, was Bruno is back and forth about whether it's Fable or whether it's Endirian. Because when Centros is singing, it's about Endirian, and when anyone else is singing, it's about Fable, and it kind of goes back and forth. Jeez. 2 months of work for you. 18 through 20 is a good number, by the way. It rounds. Hope you all enjoy. And to Chad, who may or may not be seeing these tags on stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'm always like this. Oh, Icarus Morningstar in their silly, goofy ways. This is a crazy thing, Sage. But there you go, chat. There you have it. There's Sage's 18,000 word post. Like a madman. I'm gonna scroll up through the whole thing now. Look at how ridiculously long this is. You crazy lad. Oh my god, it's still going. We're in season 2 right now, bro. God, that's crazy. Anyways. Fable fandom, you guys are super cool. Happy 2-month anniversary of the finale when this is happening. And yeah, I'll leave you guys back to your regularly scheduled program now.